I'm Zach Snyder.
And I'm Aden Matthews.
And welcome back to another YouTube podcast. One stop shop for anything and everything related to YouTube.
Welcome back. Back again. It's the podcast about YouTube. I ain't got a clever intro this time. That was about it.
Yeah, that was like solid like 4 out of 10.
Yeah. You can't have a banger every day.
Yeah,
every week.
That's true.
It's impossible.
This podcast episode could still be a banger.
Right.
It's not over yet. It just started.
We're still the hottest YouTube podcast, but that kind of made the flame a little weaker, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, that was like you were a Kendrick last week, but now we're kind of like a SoundCloud rapper. We got to fix that, dude. Right.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of like Little Pump, Young Gravy kind of level.
Young Gravy? Is that an actual?
Yes.
Oh man.
Mr. Clean. It's my favorite of him.
These are his work.
Yeah. I don't know if he's a SoundCloud rapper, but he's got some YouTube videos.
Oh, okay. That's even worse.
Like Young Gravy, Mr. Clean. There we go.
Okay. Man. What are we doing this week?
So, this week, well, actually, originally we were going to talk about collabs, and we are probably still do that. But I thought, and this was literally like a last minute thing, I thought, you know what? We've been wanting to do some interviews on this podcast for a while now, and we did one with Jay the Zoomster, and that was a lot of fun. And I liked that episode a lot. And I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and interview Zach all nonchalantly and just bring it up last minute.
Whoa.
So, yeah. I'm going to interview him. He has no idea what I'm going to ask him. I don't even have any idea what I'm going to ask him. It's going to be all improv all the time. So yeah, we're interviewing Zach Boy today.
Sounds fun.
Ooh.
I'll be
or disaster.
Seat. Yeah,
one of
the disaster. It'll be one or the other, but you guys get to figure it out with us. But before that, as we always do, we're going to talk about
everyone's favorite segment.
Everybody's favorite segment.
I gotta say that from now on, just to rub it in to Jay.
Our week on YouTube trademark.
Ooh. How did the week? How did the week go?
How did your week go?
I don't think anything happened, actually. Did anything happen? No, nothing did. This
is going to be the shortest.
It might be.
The shortest one. Because guess what happened on my channel this week?
The same thing?
Absolutely nothing.
How did that work out? Usually one of us is on point. Like if one of us are failing, the other one's kind of like doing something.
So I think I put out... What did I do? I think I put out like YouTube podcast a day late or something like that. Maybe it came out on Wednesday. I mean, not Wednesday, because maybe it came out on Monday. Let me look right quick. Because I'm trying to see if I made any progress. Originally, I was going to have a recap for Deadpool come out on Valentine's Day.
Tuesday. It came out on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, the podcast. Okay, cool.
Yeah, February 13th.
All right, so I did have a couple of things come out.
There you go.
Yeah. I had Incredible Hulk recap. That turned out well. I got a little bit of good views from that. Yeah, I was going to have another recap out that Wednesday, and it didn't happen. It's rendering right now. And then I had other plans for that week, but it didn't happen.
Didn't go nowhere.
It didn't. But other than that, I decided to not go for daily videos on Zack Snyder Productions.
I saw that tweet. I saw it. I'm like, ooh, what's this?
So, New Year's resolutions. One of them was daily videos. We
talked about that one.
And I realized, realistically speaking, right now, with me doing all the work on my channel and the gaming stuff and whatever, and life and college and all that kind of stuff, like it's unrealistic for me to be able to put out quality daily videos right now on this channel.
Sure.
So the plan is 5 videos a week.
Still a lot.
Which is still a lot.
Just not 7.
Right. So it gives me like
Interesting.
the weekend to kind of do more work without being forced to put out something that those days. If I do like a quick review of a movie that just came out, or if I have an extra podcast episode of something that I wanted to do, or whatever it is, like I can still put those out on Saturday and Sunday. Or I can just put them out that day. Like, there's really, when it comes down to schedules, like it's cool to have like a strict schedule that you stick to, but it's our channels. We can literally just upload stuff whenever we want. And sometimes I kind of forget that, because I used to be back in the day, but
all about that life.
Yeah.
And now here we are, February 20th, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That's like most New Year's resolutions. They end up dying in February for some reason.
Yeah. I do have a video coming out hopefully this week about, it's like a checkup on the New Year's resolutions.
Sure.
So I actually got to re-record that shot, because I didn't have this plan until just a couple days ago, and I already recorded the video, but
that's how it goes.
Yeah. It is.
I actually did stream on Twitch. I remember I did that.
Oh, you did? That's right.
I streamed F-Zero X for about 5 or 6 hours, which was the first stream I did in a long while, and that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed doing that. I got a Twitch sub from Jay again. Cool. Because he keeps using his Prime one. And then some random person came in and like gave me 10 bits and just left. So
there you go.
Shout out to Clint, I guess. Thanks for that. I don't know
Eastwood?
Why. Nah. I think it was Clint something. Might have been gaming. I don't know. It was Clint something.
That sounds pretty cliche.
Yeah. I mean.
That's
how it goes.
I had a couple of other interesting things happen this week that's not specifically YouTube related. I joined a app called Stardust.
Oh, here we go.
Pretty dope.
Here we go. It begins.
No, I actually so I've been using it a lot. Basically, it's a reaction app for movies and TV shows. You watch a movie, you post a little 3 to 30 second video on there of your reaction. You watch a TV episode and do the same thing. And it's really cool. There's a couple of like the big movie YouTubers that use it. And then I've gotten some people to check it out that are, viewers of mine and friends of mine. And I think you finally
today, actually.
Today.
Literally today, yeah. 3 p.m.
Yeah. But I found out about it because they followed me on Twitter. And I checked it out. I had seen that Nostalgia Critic was putting it in their videos.
That's where I heard about it as well.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance, give it a shot. I got on there, started making a couple of reactions, got a couple of followers, and then they sent me a message and they're like, hey, if you can get 5 people on here in the next month, we'll make you Stardust Superstar. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? But I was like, okay, I'll get 5 people on here. So I got 5 people on there. I think I got like 10 people or something like that. And as of yesterday, and they were like, hey, you're now a Stardust Superstar. You can use our Facebook group and stuff. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So it's like 300 people that do Stardust reactions on there. And pretty cool.
You're in the gated community now.
Yeah. Well, and then they send me another email today. They're like, hey, we can make you verified on Stardust if you can get 300 people on this app in the next 2 months. Like, okay.
Good luck with that, fam.
Calm down. I'm going to wait a little bit before I actually accept it. Because there's no way I can get 300 people on an app in the next 2 months.
Sure.
I can't get 300 people in the next 2 months to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Right.
So, I'm gonna wait on that, but it's still pretty cool. I really do like the app. Yeah.
Well, good for you. I'm glad you're in a Facebook group now. That was real insightful.
Well, apparently there's like other benefits. It's like they're going to look at people that are Stardust Superstars before they look at anybody else when they're trying to find reactions for certain things. There might be some other benefits later on down the road, but either way, like, hey, whatever.
It's a start.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah. And then Humble Bundle recently started referral links,
Ooh.
which is cool. And so you can make money on Humble Bundle now.
By buying video games.
Yep. So I got a little video plan this week that's gonna pretend like it's sponsored by Humble Bundle, which technically is, because if people use the referral link, I'll get money, and that's a sponsorship, kind of.
In the loosest wording of that word, yes.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe more like a partnership.
Right.
Yeah.
More like they have 99% leverage and you have the 1, and you're like, hey, working together, right? And
yeah, pretty much.
It's like, yikes.
I'm doing a giveaway, and I've got that's like associated with their monthly subscription this month, and I've gotten a couple people to already sign up for it, so it's pretty cool.
Working on it.
Yeah, but anyways, I mean, I don't even know why I'm padding out this section. Literally nothing else happened this week.
Just so Jay can listen to this 30-minute segment before we get into the actual
exactly.
Let me see, is there anything I can stall with? I uploaded a worldwide meme video. There was a video that came out where me and him played a Naruto fighting game. And I've been sitting on that. I've been sitting on that video for months, and it finally came out.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a good video. I like it. So
cool.
Dual commentary stuff, especially with Ethan, is always a lot of fun.
Seems like it would be a fun watch.
Oh yeah. It's short enough, it doesn't last too long. But go check out Worldwide Meme.
Yeah.
And then the game is Naruto Clash the Ninja.
In YouTube news, PewDiePie came back from his 1-week vacation in Japan.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. Logan Paul also came back from his 1-month vacation from demonetization.
Wasn't really a vacation per se, more of a mistake. Just a 1-month
another
mistake.
One immediately. Oh man. But anyways. I guess let's go right into the interview. Yeah,
that'd be fun. Oh, real quick though, before we get into it. Speaking of Logan Paul, are you aware of John Oliver at all?
I'm familiar with him.
Okay, so he recently came out with a new episode, start of season 5, whatever. I watch him casually here and there. And, usually a lot of his videos go up to trending a lot of the time because TV production and all that seems to do pretty well on YouTube. And it got to number 1 on trending, and they were talking about Trump versus the world and all this other stuff.
Okay.
And there's one bit, there's one bit in there where he specifically makes fun of Logan Paul in there.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey Logan, maybe you shouldn't upload that video. Maybe you shouldn't do that. And it was just so surreal. It was so surreal to me that a guy who primarily makes his money through like HBO and all this TV stuff and like a big name comedian, right? Mm-hmm. Uttering the word Logan Paul out of his mouth just felt so bizarre and so weird to me. Even though it really shouldn't. I mean, like, Logan Paul's been around. Like, people have talked about him before. But it gave me this weird kind of like, ugh, are my two worlds mixing? What's this? Why are people talking about YouTube? It's bizarre.
YouTube's getting out there more. It's weird.
Right.
It's super weird.
Maybe not the best representation.
No, not
for
at
all
all.
of us there. Yeah.
We
were specifically a cat video platform, and then it moved to that. Like there was no growth in between. It was just that to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, if you go like on what is it, like Entertainment Tonight? It's a television show on regular TV. That I never watch, but it just comes on before certain shows whenever I'm at home. Like when my family sits down to watch The Big Bang Theory, and that comes on right before it. But anyways, they it's basically like a gossip show, about like celebrities and shit and what's happening in TV and all that kind of stuff. Well, at the end of each episode, I'm assuming, because I've seen it a couple times, what they do is they show like a funny video from the internet. You know, they show
like
a
an
meme.
animal video or something. Something a
Yeah.
little dumb.
Yeah.
Ugh,
So
yeah,
it's
there's
like
too many of those
YouTube
places.
is still very much that, but it's also getting like bigger in many different ways now, which is it's just bizarre.
And with all the news and controversy breaking out, I imagine more people now know about YouTube now.
Yeah.
The child pedophilia, the demonetization stuff.
Yeah.
That's just all over the news.
Nazis,
Yeah.
it's great.
Glad we got ourselves out there in the best way possible.
Yeah.
The platform of Nazis, everybody. Here we
I'm
are.
looking forward to my future controversies.
Right. It'll be good. It'll be cool.
I had one earlier.
You did?
I did. I had a controversy earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So 2017, I did a live stream for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Right.
And throughout that live stream, I was talking about going to make spaghetti at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And you were watching this, and you just happened to continue to egg on the conversation about spaghetti. And so we were just talking about spaghetti and everything. And so I named the live stream "How to Make Spaghetti."
Right.
And I recently got a comment earlier today that said, "You are a." Well, let me read it word for word because it's pretty great.
Sounds great.
Clickbaiting trash. You are an idiot.
Scandalous.
So
it's a low blow, man.
Yeah. So I'm clickbaiting trash, guys.
You made it.
I made it.
Now you're a real YouTuber.
Yeah.
I love that stream. That's a good stream.
Yeah, it was.
The whole spaghetti joke was literally to ag on someone in that chat. Like, originally, it was just like me just talking about you making spaghetti, and then I mentioned the sauce, and some guy in the chat got creeped out by it, and I kept bringing it up to ag him on. I forgot who it was, but yeah, it was great. I love that bit.
I could see that.
Zach Spaghetti has a special sauce for those unaware. He won't share it with anybody.
Yeah.
It's got me real hype, nonetheless. Anyway, enough stalling. Get to the actual interview for this turns into a spaghetti-filled nightmare going on here. Anyway,
interview,
let's start off this little interview. Give me some basic info. Where were you born? What year?
Oh shit.
Who your parents? Like just some little basic information. Get everybody started off.
All right. Well, I was born in the same place that I have lived my entire life. Little old city called Greenville, South Carolina.
Mm.
Yeah. And like what other basic info?
Do you know like where you were born at? Like what hospital at all?
I mean, I could say that, but that's really close to where I live, and that would.
Oh really? Oh right, yeah, I could. That'd be great. Now we know the true purposes of this interview.
I would like to not be doxxed.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So you were the oldest out of your group?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest of 6. So I have 5 younger siblings. Yeah. And
how many brothers and sisters specifically?
I got a brother and 4 sisters.
4 sisters? No, jeez.
Yeah, it's just as fun as you would think it is.
Well, it's funner considering you're the oldest of your group. It's not fun if you're like the middle kid. Like no one likes being the middle child.
Yeah, but then also like the oldest has all the responsibilities.
That's true. That's true.
So, I grew up really quickly as a child. I cannot remember the last time I felt like a carefree child.
Well, that's interesting because that's what I was going to lead into. Like, did you have a very happy childhood, or were you more like a little bit more?
I was more
cynical,
serious,
nerdy kid. Like,
I was more serious about things than I am now.
Really?
Yeah. Like I was the kid that went to school, enjoyed school. We're talking about like elementary school here. Like enjoyed school, did all of my homework like Monday nights for the entire week. Like I I was the only 4-year-old in my 4K class that could read, and I would read to my classmates.
You try hard.
I was an overachiever, and I've been an overachiever most of my life.
Okay,
and it's yeah,
it's little humble brag on yourself.
Well, I say that to say that I have definitely underachieved in the past couple of years.
Comparatively, right? Like you started off so strong and then declined.
Yeah.
So would you say your peak is like 5 years old and then it's like downhill from there?
Dude, definitely. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. So it's weird because it's like in terms of school, I kept like a positive mentality about school till about halfway through middle school. But then I had started getting into music, and when I got into high school, I was just ready to go to college because everything about high school had nothing to do with anything I wanted to do. And so I went to college, and then I realized I didn't want to be at college either.
Sure.
Because everything I want to do, didn't need like that education aspect to it.
But we're a long way away from that. We still got time to go before we reach that point. In there.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's go with what you said earlier about getting into music. Now, did this happen like later, or even like as a little kid? You're like, music's the best. This is tight.
Oh, well, so my dad has always kind of instilled music in my life and in my siblings' lives. Just always played it, or just always had music playing on the radio around the house. My dad actually played trumpet when he was in middle school.
Ooh.
And so he had this trumpet like in the attic for years, and he showed it to me when I was like really young, and it was like, you can play this when you get into middle school. And so when it got to be that time, like I had remembered that, and he reminded me, and I was like, yeah, I definitely want to get into this,
carry on the legacy.
Yeah, exactly. I played like recorder in like 4th grade, 5th grade, like most people.
I'm picturing that in my head. That's great.
But I also got like super into it. So like I was the kid that learned every single song in the book.
And then
on
recorder?
On recorder. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had like a black belt system, like for like martial arts, except for recorders. It was like each song you play, you get like another belt, and so of course your boy had the black belt.
You remember any of them that you learned it all? Or is this like so long ago?
It's like the basic shit. It's like Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Like nothing complex.
No, I think like the most complex thing was like Amazing Grace.
That's the peak.
Which I mean, I guess to be fair, like on recorder, like it takes a little bit of practice to do that. But
I can imagine most songs would.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of tough playing on recorder.
Or like When the Saints Go Marching In.
Oh right, yeah, that'd be a great cover. I love it. Love to hear
that. Recorder covers coming to a YouTube channel near you.
Hey, I mean they do well on YouTube. Like
I'm sure they do.
Any videos of recorders are either cringy or like purposely funny. So I'm a fan either way. It's the kind of stuff I dig.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I did chorus in 4th grade. And I didn't like it at all. Not because I couldn't sing, or not because I didn't like to sing. I just hated all the music we sang.
We didn't have choir until like high school or whatever. So I'm trying to figure out how you had one in like 4th grade. Like that was just an option. We had
a 4th grade and 5th grade chorus. It was combined, but that was the extent of the chorus. You had to audition for it. You had to sing like "My Country 'Tis of Thee" or something like that.
Was it really big? It probably wasn't.
It was like, I'm trying to think, probably like 30 something people.
Okay.
So I mean, fairly small, but
fair.
But I got so irritated by it because like I'd want to like legit sing, and these people couldn't carry like a tune in a bucket. And then we'd sing like songs that I don't even remember what they are because it was like some bullshit that I didn't care about.
Right.
I was like, why don't we sing like a good song? So like I could have gone back and did it 5th grade, but I didn't because I just didn't want to.
That's fair.
Yeah, but then I started band in 6th grade.
Yeah. I actually did as well, and then I like quit immediately afterward, like not even a year in.
You played clarinet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fun stuff.
But you had a much better time in band. You enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very early on. Yeah,
Fair enough.
I was the kid that went home and practiced every day.
Annoyed your parents. Playing real loud.
Yeah.
That was Ethan, because Ethan stuck through with band, so I had to hear him starting out on trumpet and then moving on to baritone. Ooh. So it just got worse as time went on.
Yeah. No, that sounds about right.
So
that's funny.
It was a yikes.
It was a yikes. Yeah.
So anyway, you get into music, you start playing band or whatever, and then like, did you have like a favorite genre of music or a favorite artist at all?
So growing up, I like my music expanded from contemporary Christian and gospel music to children's music on like Radio Disney and shit.
Yeah, and, we all know that face. That's great.
Yeah, and then like TV show themes, and that was it until like late middle school, and then I started expanding my musical knowledge to other genres, and like up to the point where in high school I was listening to anything and everything I could get my hands on.
Sure, whatever you could find.
Yeah, and so I'm still like that. Like I just love anything. Like as long as it's good music, it's it's good.
Did you collect CDs back in the day or not really?
Well, I didn't until high school. My parents had like a small CD collection, like maybe like a good 15 or 20 CDs that I listened to over and over and over again. Most of them were just Christian music. But then I got into, what was it? High school, I got a job. And so I started buying CDs and then collecting them. But yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely was not that. Like I downloaded anything. Like download boy all the way.
I did download a lot of shit like middle school. As soon as I learned about LimeWire, you remember that?
Yeah, I was a user on LimeWire. I love that shit.
Yeah, I was not a user. Wink, wink.
I feel you.
Yeah, no, I used to download from that, and then what other websites I could use after that kind of disappeared. And then high school I was still downloading shit until I got like a job and could buy my CDs. But
get income.
I still ended up downloading for a while until I got like Spotify and could just stream everything.
Sure. So moving along here, elementary school is a pretty good time for you.
Yeah.
Just from what we're hearing.
Relatively speaking.
Well, you don't have a lot going on usually.
No, not really. Like, I mean, like
pretty carefree.
Elementary school kind of sucked because it was like, that's where all the bullies were.
Right.
I was like heavily bullied as a child. I went to school and did my schoolwork, but it was extremely boring to me. I just hated being there. Or, I mean, I didn't really hate school. It was just never a challenge to me.
Right.
And so it was like, I did my work and I liked learning and I did all that kind of stuff, but it was like, I want to do more. I'm ready for middle school.
Sure.
And
then that's what I was going to ask. When did that transition sort of happen? Because you mentioned like halfway through middle school, things kind of like changed a little bit.
Yeah. So once I got into middle school, I kind of finally got like the challenge that I wanted in school. It wasn't boring anymore, mainly because, hey, I was able to do music. And that was a big thing that just kind of kept me like liking school for a while. And then I was taking like honors classes and stuff like that. I think seventh grade is when things really started changing a lot because I was taking high school classes. I was doing the high school band at this time, very early for somebody to do high school band.
Right.
And many ways that's a mistake to have any like 6th or 7th grader go and play with a marching band just because it like there are some benefits, but then like there's a certain different type of playing that you kind of do in marching band specifically as a trumpet player, you're encouraged to play loud and you're encouraged to play high.
Sure.
And when you're doing this all the time, 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes, your playing gets worse when it comes to like concert band stuff. And so essentially, like, I did 6 years of marching band and that before I got into college, and that just kind of screwed up my playing a little bit and I had to relearn some stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So it messed you up. It didn't even help.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, there was a couple of things that it helped me with, but long term, like it just wasn't, because I didn't get enough instruction very early on as to like how I need to play this thing or whatever. I was very natural at playing, but there were like some core techniques that I needed to kind of have to advance later on in my, I say musical career, but I mean, you know, it's not really a career.
At the time, musical career.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. That works out.
But yeah, it was like 7th grade. I had so many extracurriculars and responsibilities and stuff. And it started to get to me a little bit. I was definitely like very busy. And I think at this point it was just, and definitely 8th grade, it was just like, I'm ready for the next thing. Which it will continue to be, I guess, kind of a thing in my life. Like I'm always ready for the next thing. And it's always because I feel like I can do more than what society is allowing me to do at the time, if that makes any sense.
So even in 7th and 8th grade, with all this pressure and all this responsibility going on you're still like, yeah, I mean, but I can do more.
Yeah.
That blows my mind, because like I'm the exact opposite of that, where like 7th and 8th grade was probably the most chill time before high school, like avoiding any sort of responsibility that I had to like play video games and hang out. And meanwhile, you on the other hand is like, hey man, can I do more stuff? Which baffles me. I don't get that.
Speaking of video games, though, this was around 7th and 8th grade when I really started getting into games.
Ooh.
Yeah, because growing up, I didn't have many video games. I had computer educational games. They were great. I really enjoyed them. I actually did enjoy them as a kid.
Sure.
Then I got like a Game Boy at like 10 years old and had like a few games, but not much. But it was middle school that I learned the wonderful world of not only like LimeWire and stuff like that for music, but emulators.
Yeah.
And that just changed my life forever.
Do you remember the first game you played, like the big like gateway game?
Super Mario 64.
Hey, yeah. That's a good one to get on.
Yeah, because it was all about the Nintendo 64 emulator that I had found first. Had a couple of friends that kind of introduced it to me. One of them, Donovan.
Right.
He got me into emulators and stuff.
Project 64.
Yeah.
There you go. That was the first one I used too.
Yeah. And then I got into like the NES emulator and would continue to go further from there.
Sure. But Mario 64 was when you got hooked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the one that like started the passion.
Mm-hmm.
I say.
Definitely.
Do you ever like go to friends' houses earlier, play games there at all? Like
I didn't. Oh, there was a couple of times. It was like one of my mom's friends had some kids that were much older than me, like 7 or 8 years older than me, in elementary school, and they had PlayStation 1 and they had Crash Bandicoot on it, and I played a little bit of that.
Right.
And that was fun.
But that's all you saw it as, just a little fun.
But yeah, that was about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I enjoyed it and I wanted to play more of it, but I obviously didn't own it, so
So you get an N64 emulator, you try out Mario 64, and then like it's just off to the races. Like what stuff you start playing around then? Like where do you go from that point?
Yeah, I mean, I started checking out other N64 games, and then this was the time that I had kind of briefly got introduced to like YouTube and like Let's Plays and stuff. Mm-hmm. It wasn't hardcore, but like I had heard about Nintendo Capri Sun. and I'd watched a couple of his videos, and then I didn't really think about it too much. I was playing Flash games around this time a lot as well. Like Flash games have always been something I've kind of gone to.
Sure. Do you remember any early favorites?
There's a there's a music rhythm game called Super Crazy Guitar Maniac Deluxe.
I think I've played the fourth one.
Yeah.
They made like a bunch of them. Yeah,
they have like 5 of them. I started playing when the second one came out. And so I played the second one, loved it, loved the music and stuff. And then I was like waiting for the next one to come out, and I think I've played all of them at this point, but yeah. So like I got into like Flash games and N64 stuff. And I mean, it wouldn't be till I was a sophomore in high school before I really, really got into gaming stuff. But I kind of like always enjoyed games. I just hadn't gotten hardcore into them yet.
Okay. So when we're talking like pre-7th and 8th grade, Zach, like if people called you a nerd, they were referring to the academic version of you, right?
Oh,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
You weren't like a comic book guy. You weren't watching anime. You weren't playing games or even TV. Mm-mm. It was just like I'm the book nerd. That's me.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any comic books growing up. I didn't watch anime growing up. I actually wasn't allowed to watch most of the popular anime at the time. Right. So like Pokemon and Dragon Ball, I wasn't allowed to watch. Yu-Gi-Oh, I wasn't allowed to watch. So I didn't really get that aspect at all. And then I briefly got into manga for a little bit in like 7th grade, just by accident. But then didn't go back into that until later. Video games, I mean, like I said, just a little bit here and there. But yeah, I mean, I was the band nerd and the the book nerd at this point.
Right.
I read a lot. I did read a lot.
Okay, well, there's something. You're getting a little bit of media fix. Just not the stuff you were known for today.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense.
I didn't even watch a whole lot of TV growing up. I mean, I did, but it was all like kids programming.
Right. Your Arthurs, your Curious George.
Your iCarlys and Hannah Montanas.
Your iCarly.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I bet that show's funny in retrospect, now that where you're at now.
I like looking back on that show, I forgot that it is about a web show.
Right.
Like I never when I think about that show, the first thing the first thing I think about is just like these goofy kids in high school.
Right, it's like a wacky teen random hijinks.
It's not that they're basically first like YouTubers. That's not what I think about. Even though that's very much a thing.
With the professional ass camera and a Mac and all this
stuff. Yeah, they had their shit going.
An apartment, studio, and all that stuff.
Yeah, like in retrospect, I think I'm more jealous now than I ever was of that show.
I want to be iCarly.
I kind of want to go back and like watch some of it. One, to see if it holds up. I doubt it does.
Probably
not. And 2, to see if like to see what kind of like video references they make and see how accurate they are. I want to see how much I relate to it, or probably don't relate to it at all.
Oh, jeez.
Man.
Okay. So 7th and 8th grade, you're kind of getting the taste of all these different things. A little bit of manga here, a little bit of video games here.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of TV, who knows. And then high school rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a good high school experience, or were you not a fan?
Overall, I think I had a good high school experience. Socially, it was fine for the most part. Academically, it was fine for the most part.
Sure.
I just didn't want to be there. I mean, that was I think first year of high school was great. Mm-hmm. And then second year of high school, I just got tired of being in marching band, which was the sole purpose of me being in high school.
Right.
Junior year, I'm getting tired of classes, and like ready to graduate, just ready to move on to college.
You had senioritis sophomore year.
Yes. Yes.
That's how ahead of the curve you are for it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy.
can I leave
Because
now?
I was like, I was taking honors classes the entire time. I was taking college classes when they were available to me. And then I had the music thing going for me. And I knew, or like at this point, because it was like sixth, seventh grade, I decided I wanted to be a music teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I had already planned on what college I wanted to go to. I had already planned on like, all that kind of shit. And I got there. Like I got to the exact college I wanted to do the exact thing that I wanted to do. We'll get to that in a bit, I'm sure.
Sure, sure.
But it was like high school. I'm ready to go do that thing. Like, I did 6 years of marching band, and 4 of those years, 3 of those years were bad.
It's 50-50. I mean, you got a little bit. You got a little bit of good stuff.
Yeah. So my first year, we had a new guy come in and start my very first year, and he did really well with the program. He got us like to winning trophies and shit, and we were doing good. And then he leaves my fourth year, and we get this one guy in here for a couple months. He gets fired for cussing out a student. Classic. Then we have a retired band director come in, like awesome guy, love him. He was not ready for modern day, like mostly ghetto high school. He was just not. He just wasn't ready.
You'd like taught back in the 50s. It's like, oh, I'm sure it's the exact same. We're just gonna slide on in here.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
So I mean, long story short, I was band captain for 4 out of 6 of those years, and which is crazy because a freshman as band captain is
nuts.
Yeah. But I ended up having to, because of the band directors not kind of doing anything. I was the one that was taking in charge, being in charge of a lot of things.
Yeah, right. But this wasn't new though, because you had mentioned earlier with the siblings, kind of a similar role.
Right. Like it's never been a struggle for me to like, I guess, be a leader, in any regards.
Were there any other instances, like outside of band and being a sibling? Did you have to like lead any other like projects or other stuff?
Yeah, I think in school I was one of the main people would go to for like help in class, and help for projects, or if there was a team, like a group project, I was the one that was making sure like things were getting done, that kind of thing. So it's always been like a natural thing to just kind of lead stuff. But with marching band, I just got so tired of like our program wasn't good, and I'm trying to like help lead a program of a bunch of students that don't want to be there, and the band director doesn't even want to be there, or the band director isn't doing what they're supposed to do. And so like I'm in this position where like I could be, like I could run this program by myself, but I'm in high school and I can't get paid for this because I got to go get a degree. So I'm like, I would just want to go get a degree so I can do this and get paid for it instead of where I'm at right now.
Having to do it for free.
Right.
So here's the thing then. You kind of had a lot of experience at a young age, in particular, like what in your definition is good leadership in particular? Because like a lot of people, I notice there's people who want to be leaders and then people who actually are.
Right.
And I noticed in that story in particular, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be the leader because I get all the power and popularity.
Right.
The way you were describing it just sounded like, I'm so fed up of all these people. I could do it better. And then you just took action and actually did it. Like, what's good leadership to you, since you've had so much experience with it?
I think a lot of the best leaders are kind of placed in that leadership position. Mm-hmm. So it isn't so much of, it's a popularity contest. I want to have power or anything like that. Which I mean, that can definitely occur. but it's almost like a lot of great leaders are put in a position to lead because they were a leader before they even were given the title, if that makes sense.
Or even knew it.
Right. Definitely.
I got you.
You know, it's about like being a good role model and, you know, doing what you're supposed to be doing in any given position first and foremost. Because if you're the, you know, and in the case of like high school, if you're the kid who is always talking back in class and not doing your work and not, you know, not coming to class or whatever it may be, then obviously like you're a bad role model in the scheme of school.
Sure.
So for a teacher to put you in a position where you're leading somebody, that wouldn't be in their best interest, and it wouldn't be in your best interest either.
Right. So it has to make sense a little bit.
Right. And then I think the other thing is just listening to people. Is so important because a lot of people that are put in a leadership position, even such big positions as like our presidency, we'll have instances where people like to talk and they like to, you know, give orders and try to like make a lot of actions, but before anything can really be done, you really have to listen to the people that you're supposed to be leading.
Sure. Is leadership fun? Is it supposed to be fun?
I mean, I think it can be rewarding.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's the same thing as fun.
I think they're a little different.
Yeah, like I think they can be the same, but I think in the sense of leadership, I think you can have fun doing the activity that you're doing. But I think when it comes to being a leader, it's extremely demanding, and there are a lot of unfun aspects of it.
Fair.
Like I mean, there was instances in marching band where I had to like take kids out in the hallway who didn't want to be there and be like, "Yo, dude, like you gotta chill out, or you gotta go home or something, you know, because you don't want to be here. You're not even participating. What else are we supposed to do?" You know, I had instances where a kid literally started walking home because he didn't want to be there, and I had to like contact the band director and be like, "Yo, what are we supposed to do about this? Because this kid can't be out there on his own. He's like 15 or whatever."
Right. Or at least it's not in your city.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's something I should say about the little part of Greenville that I'm from is not the most pleasant place to be in.
Right.
In many regards. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different instances like that. I've gotten like cussed out by students because they don't think that somebody their age should have any kind of, I say the word power just because that's what they think I have power over them. But at the end of the day, like I'm just trying to make sure like the program is good, you know?
It's a you're not my dad type of scenario.
Oh, right? Absolutely.
That's a meme now, but like people think like that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real thing.
And it's not just as like a leader in like a student organization or anything. Like it's like that for teachers here too.
Sure.
Because a lot of kids these days, and I sound like I'm 40, but a lot of kids these days, they don't like authority. And so they think they can just do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case because there are consequences, you know?
Sure. Did you have an instance like that where you got like too big-headed over it? You kind of had to like reel it back a bit?
That's a good question. I don't think I ever got to that point. I do think there were moments where I got like incredibly pissed off, and I guess I did have to like calm down a bit because, I mean, me punching somebody isn't going to solve a situation. You know, not that I ever was going to punch anybody, but you have fill-ins. You're like,
you don't come to band, I swear to God, you're dead. You're gone. You're not showing up tomorrow.
If you're pissed off at your own sibling who's also in the band and you're in charge of them,
Oh, that's
You're in a
that's
really
a fresh hell.
interesting situation.
That's a fresh hell.
It's one of those things like, just wait till we get home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully, me and Ethan were only in bed for like a couple of months, and I was in no way like ahead of him, and he wasn't either. We were just like in the same room, and that was perfectly fine. That was good. I preferred it that way.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that's an interesting tangent. Let's move on a little bit there. I'll periodically bring up kind of like deeper questions like that whenever I see fit. Really.
Yeah, for sure.
But I thought that was interesting, so I thought I'd bring it up. Anyway, so 7th and 8th grade, high school, stuff like that goes pretty well for the most part. You already know what college you're going to. You already know what you're doing there. So like, just between doing marching band and school stuff and all this, and a job, by the way, because you were working at this point.
Yeah, I worked senior year of high school. I started working the summer before senior year, and I worked at a grocery store called Bilo. Bilo, yeah.
Okay.
It's specific to the Southeast. Like, I think there's like 4 states that have it or something like that.
We don't.
I don't know.
We do not at all.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But between all this going on, what'd you do in your free time exactly? Was it just kind of like expanding on those interests? Video games and stuff like that, or not really?
Up till sophomore year, it was just like practicing music. I was almost like up till freshman year. It was just like I went home, I practiced trumpet, or I practiced piano, because I was kind of like teaching myself piano, teaching myself a little bit of guitar. I got into like learning saxophone. I just really enjoyed music, and so I was just kind of learning as much of it as I could at this time. Listening to music, playing a little bit of video games here and there on the computer. Yeah, until I got into YouTube stuff around like the end of my freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just go into that then, because you're a YouTuber, I guess.
So, another YouTube podcast.
I mean, we might as well go ahead and talk about the platform that this podcast is based around. So what are your like early experiences of YouTube? We know you watched a little bit of Nintendo Capri Sun there, but was there anything like pre that at all? Did you watch the funny cat memes or
I didn't actually.
No cat memes?
I think I watched more on in middle school. I watched more on Newgrounds. Like animated stuff, little stupid animated stuff. I watched, funnily enough, I would watch certain videos on like Daily Motion, because it wasn't blocked at school. I don't remember exactly what, but there were like certain things I'd watch there, with like some friends. And then like I didn't get hardcore into watching YouTube until freshman year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like I knew about Nintendo Capri Sun, but I still didn't watch it much. Mainly because he cussed, and it was like I can't have this going on around like my parents or my siblings.
That's why you get some good headphones.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah.
It's funny to think of like Nintendo Capri Sun as like a provocative, vulgar guy compared to like what's going on now. Even
I know.
That's so funny. That's so funny for me to think about.
Yeah.
Like, man, you were Nintendo Capri Sun was too hardcore at the time for you.
Well, I mean, he cusses pretty regularly.
Sure.
But there are definitely like, I think like the extent of his humor, like in regards of like vulgarity, was like using fuck every once in a while, and like toilet humor, like the embodiment of toilet humor.
Sure.
Meanwhile, like the sexual jokes are just rampant on current YouTube.
Right.
Like again, like some dark humor.
There was far worse at the time.
Oh yeah. I'm absolutely sure of it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot more provocative now, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Than it used to. So you watch Nintendo Capri Sun. Who else?
That was it until freshman year.
Okay.
But freshman year, I was introduced to Ray William Johnson and Equals 3. I got super into that. I watched it every single time it came out. He had a cartoon band called Your Favorite Martian. I started watching that on their like second video when it came out, and I was habitually tuning into that every 2 weeks until they released their last video, and then never put out the album they were going to put on because Maker Studios sucks.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of their stuff too. They're good. They're good stuff.
Yeah, no, I still enjoy it.
All right. Staged pretty well too.
I had a friend of mine, the same friend that got me into Ray William Johnson, tried to get me into Tobuscus, but I never got into it. I want to say that there's got to have been like a couple of Jax Films videos that I watched, but didn't get into him until much later. And
he was around that early?
Yeah. Oh, Jax Films been around for 10 years.
I did not know that.
He's been doing videos for 10 years. Yeah, like Philip DeFranco and them. Yeah.
Right. I knew Philly D did. I didn't know Jax Films did.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's really cool.
He got big doing parodies. Well, here's something. Yeah. Well, like Yai is only like 2 years old.
Sure.
So, but yeah. And then, what was it? We watched this not too long ago, but Smash Tasm, good old Machinima.
Oh, Machinima was everywhere.
Got into that, and then this was when I was starting to like hardcore watch Nintendo Capri Sun. And Batman 9502, smaller Let's Player. But I had just gotten Twilight Princess for the GameCube, and I looked up a walkthrough, and that was when I really had started like learning about the wonders of Let's Plays.
You were a fan. You were a fan early on.
Yeah.
You still are. This day a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
What? The Batman guy continue to make stuff? Is he still around?
He is still around. He doesn't do things as often as he used to be. But what I really enjoyed about his videos at the time was that I could listen to him out loud because he didn't cuss.
Wow.
Wow, what a concept. But he was still entertaining though, which was nice. And still stands up today.
That's
pretty
great.
cool. Pretty cool YouTuber.
Hypothetically, what if there's a kid in your exact same situation, like same deal, and they get onto YouTube around the same age you did, and like found Zack Snyder Productions, and like couldn't play it because you said a swear word in a video?
Yeah.
I'm just picturing that. That'd be great.
I mean, that was like one of my siblings, but then they did play it in front of my dad.
Yeah.
And,
this isn't even a hypothetical anymore. This is real talk.
Do I need to tell the story of my first curse word? No, not my first, but
my first swear.
The first swear.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Tell the story of when my dad found out I cursed.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I'm at college, right? This is sophomore year of college.
Sure.
A few months before this day, I put on a video of a Flash game called Can Your Pet. It's a little I've
played it before.
It's the Doki Doki Literature Club
of its time.
Big twist at the end. And this is not the first video I've cussed in at this point. Because getting into YouTube, I didn't cuss because I was at home and couldn't. And so once I got to college, I was doing more like collabs and stuff. I was like, hey, I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Hey.
Or so I thought.
Right.
And I'm like, so I'm playing this Flash game. Even got the webcam on there, so there's no mistaking
who it is. Who the sinner is in the scenario.
Exactly. This little thing happens in the game, and I'm like, holy fuck, or something like that.
Right.
I'm like, oh boy. Anyways, I say it. The video's good. 4 months later, I'm in my room just chilling, doing something. I think I was watching anime or something at the time. I get a phone call from my dad. No, I know what I said in the video. I'm like, "Can your fucking pet?" Because I was just like, I couldn't believe what just happened. And I get a phone call from my dad, and he says, and this is quoting exactly what he says. He says,
Okay.
"Can your effing pet?" I'm like, what? I'm just kind of like, I was
You're in shock.
chilling. I was chilling. Well, I couldn't understand exactly what he had said at first. He was like, "Can your effing pet?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Can your effing pet? YouTube video." I'm like, "Nani?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "So you cuss now?" I was like, I don't know what to say.
Right, you can't lie to him. He has video evidence.
Like I don't know what to say. I was like, well, I mean, it was I guess I said a bad word in a video.
Sure.
And he's like, I know in the last couple of years I've started to use profanity around you kids more often. But I've never said this word in front of you. So I'm really kind of disappointed. And I'm like, man.
Meanwhile, you probably knew that word for like years beforehand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've known it since middle school.
Right.
I'm like, well, that's not the only video I've cussed in. He was like, "You really should watch your language. Kids could be watching your videos." It's like, well, my videos aren't for kids. But long story short, that the phone call eventually ends. And then I look down at my phone and I see a text message from my younger sister, who's 2 years younger than me. She was 18 at this point.
Right.
She's like, "I may have screwed up." It's the text message. "I may have screwed up." So I text her back. I was like, "What are you talking about?" She says, "I wanted to see your reaction to this game because I saw somebody else playing it and I didn't know you were going to say a bad word." I was like, well,
this is why we use headphones.
This is why we use headphones. But I mean, she didn't only just like watch it like across the room. Like she was like, "Dad, look at this video. This is going to be fun."
No.
And so, yeah, that happened. And then I get a phone call from my mom later on that day. And she's like, "I saw the video."
At this point, you're just embarrassed, right? You're like, "Oh no."
I'm just like, "I'm sorry." I just say, "I'm sorry." And she's like, "I thought it was funny." I was like, "What?" I was like, that SpongeBob meme with Mr. Krabs, where he's just kind of like all over the place. I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I saw the video. I thought it was funny. You're an adult now. I can't really control what you're saying." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, that's not the only video I've cussed in." She's like, "Well,
as long as they don't get shown,
it's all right."
As long as no one sees them.
And then she like tells me a week later that she started watching my Amnesia playthrough. I'm like, "Oh no." Because that's so much worse.
Right. It's a horror game. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing, though. After all this goes down, do you like for a couple of months just don't swear and then try to do it again, or do you go like right back into it?
I think I started to watch some of what I was uploading at the time. Because I knew I was like under that radar. So I was like, what am I uploading? It's like 2015. I'm like experimenting with a bunch of new shit anyway. So I'm like, what am I putting out right now? But not really. I didn't like change too much. I did start to watch some of the jokes I was making. It's like just in case.
You never did you say.
At this point, like I still think my dad is not 100% okay with me like cussing in my videos.
Well, then the whole Dream Daddy debacle happen.
Well, nothing's really happened with that, fortunately.
Yeah.
And I'd like to just not talk about it just in case.
In case he listens to this podcast?
I doubt he will, but I'd like to keep that just, just a thing that just hopefully never happens.
All right.
Man.
So when do you start like actually uploading videos? Because this obviously was later on. When do you actually start like uploading stuff?
I started in 2011 in May. It was like early May. And I started with music videos. I started with like trumpet covers and piano covers. I think the first video I uploaded was like Numb by Linkin Park piano cover in the chorus room in my high school. With like a you remember those netbooks? They were like smaller laptops.
Yeah.
Like Acer put out a couple, and I had one of those.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. It was like maybe like 250 gigabyte hard drive, maybe, but it had like a webcam on it, and so I just like used the webcam on that computer and the internal microphone. Took it to school with me and recorded these pretty mediocre covers.
Were you hoping to like get picked up on like American Idol or something like that? Like
I didn't really have like any hopes to do anything with it. It's just kind of like I was like inspired by a couple of YouTubers that I watched upload videos, and I was like, hey, I'm practicing this music anyways. It'd be cool to like put them up online, and so I put them there. And I don't think I ever actively tried to grow that channel.
More of a hobby
at all. Yeah, it was just more of like a strict hobby.
Okay.
And then December of 2011 happened, and I was like playing some games or doing something. I had an idea to start a series about Nintendo's history, and so I started another channel called Subijin Games.
What was the first one called?
It was just called Subijin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was I've said it before on the channel, but basically it was a word that I made up for a book that I was going to write with a couple of friends. This name was the name of a character that was a lion. And I just kind of made it just like became like my email address in middle school, and like I just kept with it. And so when I made the gaming channel, I was like, well, what am I going to call it? I'll just name it Subijin Games. Because at this point, like a lot of gamers who had other channels were doing that kind of thing anyways.
Right.
But December 2011, uploaded a trailer for, I use the term trailer loosely, for Nintendo the History. It was really bad. It was just like, I think it's still up. You can still see it. It's just like Windows Movie Maker images and music and some text like laid on top of some of it.
Yeah, that's the first video available.
Yeah. So you can still see it to this day. Nothing special.
I like the Nintendo's capitalized and trailers capitalized, but the history is all undercase.
That's fantastic.
That's clean. I like that.
There you go.
So when you even made the trailer, did you really have any idea what like the first episode was even going to be, or did you like, I gotta get something? Just throw it out there. I
just kind of throw it out there. I was just like, I really want to do this thing. Here's this idea I have. Let me make a trailer for it. Because I had some ideas for what I wanted to do, but it wasn't like big ideas. And then I think, when did I put out episode 0? I'm trying to remember.
I got it up here.
You got it?
Yeah, 6 years ago, February 10th, 2012.
Okay, so about 3 months later, I make that video. That was the fun fact. That was the first video I made in Adobe Premiere. Not the Pro version, but the Elements version, which is inferior to the Pro version. It still got the job done.
Was the trailer Movie Maker?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
clean.
This is like the first time I really had any kind of experience with editing. No, it definitely is the first time I had any experience with editing.
Because before you were just recording music covers. Like, record, done. Throw it out there.
Mm-hmm. I think between December and February, the channel just wasn't just vacant. There were actually a lot of videos that I uploaded that were Let's Plays. Because I was watching Let's Players. I was like, I can make some Let's Plays. So I did it. And you can't see those videos anymore because I deleted them. Unfortunately, I hate that I did that. I do. But
the cringe.
Yeah, exactly. But I uploaded some Let's Play parts in between those. I joined a website called For Forgotten Things. And I had episode 0 come out in Nintendo the History.
Yep. Which at the moment is at 203 views, but I imagine it was a lot lower at the time.
Yeah, I think so. I think I want to say I got a lot of views really quickly. I think I got like half of that within the first couple of weeks.
I see. Mainly from the website, or did you share it around?
Most of it from the website, but I did like share it on some forums and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this is sort of your YouTube, like, at least the gaming side of it start. You do a couple of music things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nintendo the History is like your first like actual big project here.
Yeah. Which is ironic.
Considering
its history.
Right. I mean,
it's had a very interesting history.
Right. More of a Sabijan Games history now than it is.
Yeah, for real.
Nintendo related.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, the website in particular, For Forgotten Things, you just found that and you joined it, or you had like a friend come up to you, or?
In March of 2012, I'd been on YouTube for a few months at this point. I got I guess this is almost a year of me being on YouTube, but like, since December of the past year. So a few months of just doing gaming stuff.
Right.
But I get a message on like the old YouTube messaging stuff.
Rest in peace.
From like this guy named Alec McGill, who I still talk to this day. He was like, I got this website for Let's Players, so Let's Play like forum. And we'd love to have you on there. He's basically just trying to recruit new members. Like, he probably sent the same message out to like a lot of people.
Oh, sure.
But I was like, all right, yeah, I'll check it out. Checked it out. I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. Got on there within the first couple of days and just kind of started posting some of my videos, trying to get involved on it. Saw that they were looking for this is how professional this was. They were looking for a U.S. recruitment officer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, that's an official title right there.
Yeah. So looking for somebody to help recruit the website and, get new people on there. And I was like, yo, I can do that. So I sent out had a little application. It wasn't nothing fancy or big or anything.
Sure.
And I applied for it and got a message back from Alec. He was like, let's talk on Skype later on tonight to talk about this. And so I had to download Skype because I never used it before. I'm like thinking, part of me is thinking, what if this guy is like 60 years old in a basement and he wants to molest me,
Right.
Cause I never touched anything like that before. And I get on call with him. He's really chill. We're just like, yeah, he's like, yeah, we can have you as the recruitment officer. So I do that for like a good year. I think I was most of 2012. And then the end of 2012 was interesting for me as well. But I mean, we can get into that later, I guess.
Sure. But you had done basically just like a few Let's Plays. He sends you this email or whatever, you join. And then just a couple days later, oh, hey, you want to do this thing that you have no experience in?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And you're just like, oh, okay. All right,
I'll do this thing. Yeah.
Well, whatever. But it worked. Hey, I mean, you got a few people there.
I did. I think I got about 200 people on there over like the next few months, which is pretty cool.
Sure.
And it helped my channel too.
The important part.
Yeah. Because I was getting new people on there by like basically doing the exact same thing he did to me. It was like messaging them through YouTube. I was talking to new like potential people I could end up collabing with, and I did collab with a lot of them early on. I did a show on my channel that was specifically like targeted towards members of the website.
The new members on.
The new members on.
Some of those episodes are the first 4, I think.
Yeah.
With the sick haircut.
Yeah. It's
yellow
great,
shirt.
Man. My fat ass just sitting there talking, and
nice green wall, dark green wall.
Let's see here. The first one, I was in my room and I put a sheet up behind me.
Yeah.
The second one, I was in my band room, or chorus room. Same with the fourth one. The third one, I was also back in my room, but I like changed the background, I think. Or, no, that's a different video.
Yeah, this one looks like a Skype deal.
Yeah, I had an interview with a great man named as the Hard Rock Pollock. Basically, like, it was interesting because I kind of got into this thing not really expecting anything out of it. But
Right.
I got a lot out of it early on. A lot of new, like, people, like, supporting me.
Mm-hmm.
And having, like, the collabs and stuff. Having a bunch of people to talk to on Skype. Basically just opening up like this entire new world. Like YouTube started to become something completely different to me.
Yeah.
For the
especially
better.
just for the platform in general too.
Mm-hmm.
2012 in and of itself was kind of a big year. And you know, with all the change you're saying going on, like in the background, YouTube itself is changing into what we would see today. For better or for worse.
Yeah, for sure.
For better
a lot
of
the big Let's Players got their kind of started around this time.
Right. Your Grumps and the like.
Grumps, Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, all of them all started around this time.
If you were over there like Nintendo Capri Sun for life, baby. I don't care about these hipsters.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, I didn't watch any of these guys until much later.
Right.
Just like the older stuff.
So the thing I want to ask then is like, obviously the start you had on YouTube, at least with Sabian Games, probably didn't happen to a lot of people, I would argue, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's very much a unique case. Do you think you would have continued for as long as you did on the Sabian Games channel, and still going, actually? Do you think you would have had the motivation to continue if that had not happened? If just the offer never comes, you just continue to do a couple Let's Plays and random videos, and maybe it didn't go anywhere, or maybe another opportunity comes? Like, what do you think would have happened?
I don't know. I don't know, because I am a very self-driven person. Very self-motivated. Basically everything I've ever like done, I've kind of like pushed myself to do. Mm-hmm. But that just having like that support in the background, and having like that place that I could go to talk to other people that were doing the same things as me. And what we'll see with Nintendo the History, I ended up like recruiting some people to help me work on that. And so I was actually seeing like projects like finalized and actually looking to be good videos, at least at the time, of course. I don't know how it would be if I didn't have that early on. It's be somewhat different.
I asked that in particular because I know we hear about it a lot of people who start out, don't really gain much traction or support, and just end up going like nowhere. You know, I picture how many channels would have killed for something like what you had there and the opportunity that you were given there. Would
Oh
they have
yeah,
would
for
they
sure.
have done the work after the fact? Like that's up in the air.
Mm.
Like it comes down to the person at all, but like I know so many channels who like if they had gotten what you had would have probably been like, man, even if YouTube goes nowhere, I'm gonna keep going for the next 5 or so years just because I've had such a great start, right?
Right. I think in many regards, people actually have it better now. Because like we're talking about a very small forum website.
Sure.
Um, in terms of like the amount of members that was on it, like there was maybe 30 when I joined. Then I had to get like, I got like 200 people on there. But then also, I didn't get my first 100 subscribers until after I had stopped doing things with this website.
Okay.
So I think into 2012, when I took like a really major hiatus, I had like 60 something subscribers. So while I did get like some results from the website, I think overall, you could do much better today with Facebook groups. And, if you're actually like participating in the Facebook groups and really just kind of going all in there, or even like, Discord 100%, having some kind of other, not even be in your own Discord, just, participating in Discord servers
Sure.
and all this kind of stuff.
I mean, where we're at now, I see people like Ben or whatever who, maybe had a YouTube channel before he came into my Discord and then kind of like got the motivation to continue. And not only that, but has a platform to share it on. And I'm not going to get rid of any of his stuff. Like, I'm not going to take his stuff off of self promo because I know that if I was in that position, and I was for a good while, like,
Right.
that would have meant the world to me, right? Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
To have a place where you could do that and post your stuff on there and, have people interested and caring about it, like, that's insane. And then that's real huge. And I think, like, positive support just means the world to people. And I think like that will get you results a lot of the time.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, you still have to work, granted, but it's good. It's nice to have a good foundation.
Right.
It's nice to have people who support what you're doing.
But I do know that like I gained a lot of valuable lessons from that group. I grew a lot. The reason a lot of my early videos are no longer online anymore is because I deleted them, because one of the older guys on the website gave me like a lot of advice in terms of commentary and even like just making sure my videos are better, and then telling me that I needed to edit.
Crazy thought.
That simple. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, this guy's telling me I need to like fix all this shit. Let me go and do it. And so I deleted like 100 videos.
Wow.
And yeah.
Lost media, everybody.
I started. Yeah.
We'll never see it again.
I really wished I never deleted it, because I had like half of a Super Mario 64 Let's Play. I had an entire Kirby's Adventure Let's Play. The first time I played Contra, because I've done that a couple times. What else? The first time I played Conker's Bad Fur Day, I've also done that a couple times. Just like all of it's gone. I started Paper Mario. I almost finished Mega Man X. There's probably something else I'm forgetting too.
All these other things.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, the group disbands, to my knowledge. I don't know how. Does he like take down the site, or do you like leave?
It was a combination of things. In September 2012, I got a girlfriend, and I decided that between marching band and high school and relationship, that I didn't have time to make YouTube videos. Also, I think we lost internet at my house around the same time too. So
This
it's
is a
just kind of like
perfect storm.
yeah, it was just like a perfect storm. We're in like my junior year of, is this junior year? Yeah, I think this is the beginning of my junior year of high school. And so it's like everything's just kind of like cranked up to 100 times what it had been in the past. And so I decided to like take a hiatus. And so from the end of the end of 2012 till I don't think February of 2013 or something like that, I just didn't upload, which also meant I wasn't on the website. And they were having some drama around this time too, which tends to happen
When
a
you
lot.
230 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some drama. There was some really stupid drama, as most drama is. And then not only that, but the host of the website, he had hoped to, by the end of 2012, to have 1,000 people on the website. That was kind of his goal. And running a website isn't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it came around the time to where he would have to kind of renew the domain, he was like, do I really want to pay this like $80 right now for this? So he didn't. He changed the website to, it was pretty advanced. Like you could upload your videos directly to the website with your YouTube link. And there was like a lot of really cool features for it. But he switched it to like a regular like forum based thing. And so nobody really wanted to use it after that. And even when I came back to YouTube and it was still up for like a few more months, I really couldn't get a whole lot of people to do anything on it.
Sure. Do you think had you not had all these things happen at once, do you think you could have got it to 1,000 or probably not?
I don't know if I could have gotten the site to 1,000, but I think I could have kept it from not leaving.
Sure.
I think right around this time, with as big as Let's Plays were getting, and with as much changes as YouTube was making, and my consistency, because I was putting out multiple videos a day, I think I definitely lost a lot of momentum during this time, which kind of sucks.
It was the end of an era almost, because things sort of changed after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Old YouTube practices and this era of your channel kind of.
Yeah, I mean, watch time was becoming big, and I was putting out multiple videos a day, which means my watch time would have been up at least a little bit compared to most people. And so, who knows?
But in hindsight, is that a regret of yours a little bit, or do you try not as well?
I think it's a regret. I don't like to dwell on past mistakes or anything like that, or even past choices in general, because I think everything happens for a reason. I think some of the greatest things that's happened in my life have had, bad things come up with it, and some of the worst things that's happened in my life have had great things come out of it. So it's one of those things where, like, yeah, it sucked, but I think taking that hiatus and then coming back, I think I was stronger than ever for a while. And that seems to be a little pattern in my life, which is interesting with YouTube.
Sure. Ups and downs, highs and lows.
Yeah. I mean, I think every YouTuber kind of experiences that anyways.
Sure. In their own unique way, definitely.
Right.
Things happen, things come up. YouTube changes, other things go around, but you gotta stick with it, right? That's the thing.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing I learned out of that entire experience was to never let another person get in the way of your passions.
That's true.
Like, whether they intentionally got in the way of it or you just weren't able to find time to do your passions because of a relationship or whatever it is. Because I mean, it just kind of sucks that I spent those few months in a relationship, and obviously that didn't end. That isn't going on anymore, and so what am I still doing? I'm still doing YouTube.
Sure.
So,
and that lesson did that carry into, because you were talking junior year around that time, that mindset sort of carry into like college and later on, where you're like, if you had any doubt about what you were doing, you could always go back and be like, well, hey, don't let anyone get in the way of your passion.
Yeah, I think I've always been kind of passion driven. I mean, the reason I ever wanted to be a teacher was because I like music, or I love music. The reason I ever wanted to like write music was because I love music. The reason I ever wanted to do anything on YouTube is just because I love doing it. Or like once I found out that I love doing it, love making videos and stuff. And so now I've gotten to the point where it was like going into college, I kind of had a lot of like practical decisions. Practically speaking, like it's better to become a teacher than to be a musician. In many people's eyes. Practically speaking, I didn't know how a music composition career could go for me, but I did know if I got a degree in music ed, I could become a teacher and get, and have money come in. I've definitely gone from that, I want to say faux, like practicality mindset to realizing that passion is more practical at a young age than anything else.
Sure. That's just, it really does fuel people a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and,
for sure.
A lot of people have had better circumstances than you've had, and others have had a lot worse. But the one, like, commonality between all of that is, like, no matter what situation you're in, right? If you have that passion, if you have that drive, you'll make it through regardless,
Absolutely, yeah.
And I've heard stories of that from people who were like homeless, and I've heard stories of that from people who had everything and had to figure themselves out, right?
Right.
I'm getting to the point where like, what really do I want to do a lot of the time? And it's never an easy question.
Oh, it's definitely not.
But I'm always interested in people's journeys to realizing that answer. I think that's telling of a lot of different characteristics.
Yeah, because I mean, we all kind of figure out what our purpose is at different points in life. And like for me, I thought I knew exactly what I wanted to do at a very young age. And I followed through with that for a very long time. And then it wasn't until last year and a half that I really figured it out. Or at least I think I figured it out.
Until that changes into something else,
Until that changes again,
We go on the same cycle all over again.
Yeah. And sometimes life is about that,
Right. At the very least, there's no college for YouTube, so you won't have to sit in a class or...
That's true. Not yet.
Get in any debt. Well, you weren't in debt anyway, though.
Well, not much.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were we? Oh, right. High school ends. You've done YouTube for a couple years. Tell me what college is like at your big boy Harvard of the South.
Yeah.
University.
So I go to a private Southern college. It's pretty difficult to get in. You had to have a really high GPA. You had to take the SAT, ACT, have pretty high scores. Be involved in a lot of extracurriculars and all that kind of shit. But I got in, got scholarships because that was the only way I was going to be able to go. Did my music degree, audition and all that kind of stuff. And then get to freshman year of college and it's fun. I loved it.
Right.
I liked going to music theory class and learning about this stuff that I should have learned in high school but didn't. I was in so many ensembles. I was just kind of playing music all the time, and it was awesome. I was taking a Japanese class. I got super interested in Japanese in senior year of high school, and so coming into Furman, which is where I go, I was just kind of let me go take this Japanese class because they offer it. I was going to all these after class programs and being involved in as much as I could, and it was fun and I loved it.
That's good.
Yeah.
new experiences, stuff like that.
Right. Because I've always been big on like new experiences, and I always like I always like learning stuff. Um, and it kind of kept that same momentum throughout most of my freshman year. Joined a fraternity second semester. Still love being a part of that. Just always busy, which is great.
Well, anything's better than leading a marching band. You're like, all right.
Yeah, I started to do marching band. I enjoyed marching band again for a year, and then hated it again for the next 3. But yeah, I mean that was freshman year, and then sophomore year it just kind of changed a little bit.
I see.
Yeah.
And you're still doing YouTube at this point?
Yeah, I'm still doing YouTube. I think actually this was 2014. The summer right before I went, I was still working, but I was still putting out videos. I was putting out like a video every day. Maybe even closer to 2 videos a day. And I kept this going through freshman year for the most part. And then I got through part of sophomore year and still had YouTube videos coming out.
So we're talking here the Chrono Triggers, the Twilight Princesses.
Right.
Stanley Parable.
Yeah. Portal. I was doing a lot here because I had also, this was like, I just got a capture card that summer. A crappy one, but a capture card nonetheless. That fall, I had just got into PC games. I just got Steam for the first time. So I'm like playing Portal and Portal 2 for the very first time and getting into like all these different games. So I really just kind of started like cranking out more content around this time. Throughout the freshman year and most of sophomore year.
Let's play Fantastic Four on the Game Boy.
Yo, you laugh, but that thing's still giving me views
for whatever reason.
Nobody else has ever Let's Played it apparently.
Somebody out there is like, ooh, I really want Fantastic Four Game Boy content. I sure do.
Now, that was the 3rd game I got on my Game Boy. So that was like a childhood game.
Right.
And so like years later, I'm like, I want to Let's Play it because it's been a while since I played it.
Did you like the movie at all?
I did like the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I like both of them. I don't know. I was an impressionable kid, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I watched both of them. I thought they were fine.
Yeah. I liked them. I didn't have any problems with them as a kid. Jessica Alba was hot, so that,
Of course, she's the invisible character, though.
Of course.
Right, the one person you wish wasn't invisible.
Yeah.
Trying to blue ball us over here.
Sophomore year came around, and I was still putting out videos, but then halfway through the year, so I went to college for music education.
Right.
And I decided sophomore year that I wanted to double major in Japanese studies.
Okay.
Because I really liked learning the language. And so fill out the paperwork, and now I'm a double major. And then I realized that, no, I've got a lot more work to do. I come to college to get a music ed degree to be a teacher as a backup plan. But what I really wanted to do was compose music for video games. And so here's a music background, here's a Japanese background, bada bing, bada boom, 1 and 2 together. Or 1 and 1 together, whatever. And it's around this time in sophomore year that I'm like, I'm really busy. I've got way too much going on. I have to not do something as much. So I put YouTube to the side.
For the second time now. This is
the second time now, yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly when this is. This is 2015.
Right.
This is the fall. That's what it is. I think this is like the fall of 2015. I just started like a podcast that year. I brought back Nintendo the history again. I was doing all these different things on the channel, but I had too much going on. I was like, I'm gonna take a break. I really need to focus on school. I still like doing YouTube, and I'll still do more of it. I just really need to take a break. And so I think that like that fall, I just stopped making videos for a little while. 2016 comes around. I think I made some videos over that Christmas break. I think I was still making a little bit here and there. We're at the end of like my sophomore year of college, and then that summer comes around, and I start making videos again. And I get really back into it for a little while, and then school starts back up, and I just didn't have time to do anything. And it was the end of 2016 that I kind of was just like, I'm kind of depressed that I'm not in doing YouTube as much as I used to.
Right.
And
were you getting nostalgic for your old self?
Yeah, kind of.
I went through that a little bit.
It just kind of sucked because I was like my first 2 years of college for the most part, I was literally making a video just about every day, if not 2 videos a day. It was fun, and I loved it, and I was letting school kind of get in the way of that, and then I'm also having like this nervous breakdown about school because I actually can't do a double major in music ed and Japanese because it's physically impossible if you're going to try to get out in 4 years. So I dropped my education part of music ed. And then I dropped Japanese studies. So now I'm just like a regular just getting like a regular music degree. And I'm in this place where I don't want to go to classes. What I really want to do is make videos. And so it was a very, very interesting dynamic. But I did like set forth this goal at the end of 2016 that it was like November. I was like, every day from this point, I'm going to make a video and put it up. So it's kind of like my New Year's resolutions of 2017.
I forgot there was so much stuff like before that period and then kind of like near that period.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking 100 or so episodes of Twilight Princess.
Yeah,
the very
that was
beginnings
finished.
of Inception.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy to think about because that's still going on in another form. Lines on our Nerdcast.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we're talking about easily 600 videos.
And other classics like Naruto Loves Sasuke. What is the word, Peter Griffin? Another banger.
Yeah.
The actual first episode of Nintendo history, episode 1.
Yeah. Well, the first episode.
The first episode.
Yeah.
A video called Happy Productive 2016.
Yeah. And then 2016 I stopped.
Trump memes.
Yeah, that video was great.
Where's my beard? Question mark. Where did it go, Zach?
I don't know.
I'm gonna guess you shaved, but maybe it was a more complicated story.
No, I shaved.
So the video you're referring to, the Fall Update 2016, big project at the end. This is when you're like, "Yo, I'm gonna get back into this."
Yeah, that was it. Because 2014, 2015, most 2016 kind of like blended together a lot. I was doing a lot of games, a lot of like smaller indie games that I kind of got free from developers, and then I was doing a bunch of like experimental videos. It's just kind of like whatever I wanted to do, which is cool. And I was gaining subscribers and stuff. I started doing like some comic book things that didn't really pan out too well. But yeah, I mean, I was doing a lot of different things. And then the end of 2016, I really was like, I want to do this more.
Sure. Want to get back into it.
Right. Because like, I want to make Nintendo the history, and I want to like make bigger and better videos, and I want to make more videos, and kind of set the precedent for 2017.
Starting it off on a good foot, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to recap at this point, YouTube since the early days of 7th and 8th grade. We have music covers, we have random Let's Plays, we have joining a group, the Four Forgotten Fangs, watching that collapse in on itself, about 8,000 LP parts, random podcasts, memes, a job, running marching band, fraternities, college, and all this other stuff. And throughout all of it, YouTube somehow remains a constant, except for 2 times. One because of a girlfriend, and one because of college.
Mm-hmm.
And then the saying, 3rd time's the charm.
Yeah.
What comes up next for this 3rd? It's crazy. It's all crazy.
Yeah.
What I'm saying here is, for those at home, like, I feel like a lot of Zach's stuff, at least his early stuff, in that great. Granted, no one's old stuff.
I agree. It's all shit. Don't watch it.
Right. The best I get out of it is like the short meme videos and like the good Nintendo the histories, and the rest of it just kind of, over there, over there a lot of the time. But it's this update video in 2016 and what happens throughout 2017 in particular that, like, what a big year for you. I don't want to spoil what comes up next, because I want you to tell it. But like, things definitely take a turn, an interesting turn.
So I'm looking back. I uploaded a 42-minute video on May 9th, 2016. I'm in a temporary dorm room right now. The semester just ended. I'm getting ready to go home for the summer or do whatever I had to do. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm not doing YouTube for a while because school is important. 42 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm like trying to explain everything, and I have like, I have one video. I have one comment on this video, but I had some people like contact me personally, and they were just like, I understand what you're going through and everything like that. But I still do. The next video I upload is. And now the next video I upload is like a month and a half for E3, and it's a nerdception. And then I start doing a little bit more. Start doing some more videos over the summer. And then getting back into the fall of my junior year, I just kind of like don't put out as many videos. And then that's when you said I put out that fall update 2016 video. And that's where I'm just like, I want to do this like every day.
You're right.
And that's what I do. I started like November, December, and I put out a video every day. And then January of 2017 comes around. And this is where I'm like, all right, I'm going to like try to actually do some shit. It's still Let's Play stuff. It's still podcast stuff.
Right.
It's nothing big. Put out like an episode of Nintendo History at the end of 2017. I had to re-upload episode 2 because of a copyright strike. That was great. Pink Floyd almost got my channel destroyed. It was great. But then beginning of 2017, it's just like it's Let's Plays.
The 5-year anniversary too.
Yeah.
It's just another kind of big deal.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then let's see here. I start a Q&A series called Ask Zach. And I had started getting involved in a couple more Facebook groups, and I started kind of networking a little bit more. I worked on my thumbnail game at this point too. There is a clear shift of thumbnails from like 2016 to 2017. Because they get so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started just kind of wanting to do bigger things. I do like a challenge series. I do like reading fan fiction. I'm doing like...
Your Binding of Isaac stuff started in 2017.
Yeah, I started in January. I think the first one was like January 3rd or something like that. January 5th. Yeah, I was doing that every day for a little while. I'm talking about a couple months.
Right.
2017 was a big year.
Oh, for sure.
many regards. It was especially like the first half of it was just kind of me getting like my passion back for it. And I mean, I was losing sleep over it. I was not going to classes. I failed some classes because of attendance
Ruh-roh.
around this time. And I started not caring as much about it. But like in many regards, I was getting happier. I was just kind of like happy to be doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a shift there.
Mm.
What it's
in what way?
In the fact that like, so freshman year for you was obviously a pretty happy time for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And sophomore year is a bit like that too for part of it.
Yeah.
And then sophomore year and junior year, you kind of hit this like, I wouldn't say low, but just this tension point where everything is just sort of building up to where it gets way too unmanageable again.
Mm-hmm.
The break happens, all this other stuff. And then, you know, little did we know that, like, you would think, like, all right, this channel is probably, you know, it's going to take a while for it to come back. Momentum's probably dead. Like, even if he does come back, what if another school project comes up and it's the same thing again? And, you know, like, how sustainable can all this really be?
Right.
And, you know, going into 2017, like, who knows? It could have been another 2015 all over again. It could have been another 2016 all over again. And had you made some different decisions, you know, had you continued to still focus on school, had you continued to go to those classes or whatever, like, would your channel end up going to the places that it ended up going? Like, I don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to feel like the what if would happen. But
right.
I think what I'm getting at here is there never was that third break. There never was that third stop. It was
That's
1,
true.
2, and then, you know, for the first time in your whole YouTube career where it just been sort of a hobby, sort of a fan thing, sort of a I do whatever I want kind of deal. And then if something more important comes along, that takes center focus.
Right.
2017 was the year where YouTube finally wasn't pushed to the side anymore and finally did take center focus. And what ended up happening because of that ended up making you happier than that relationship or college ever did.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Those things that at the time you considered way more important than the silly YouTube hobby at the time, right? Like,
oh yeah, definitely. I think what was interesting is like when I look back to like 2014, 2015, I was super consistent during that time. Right. I had videos on every single day. What didn't happen was I didn't get really any good views on any of them. But I also wasn't looking at views. I wasn't looking at growth. I was just kind of doing it because it was fun. I was just kind of doing it because I wanted to do it. But because I wasn't looking at any kind of growth, I was doing a few collabs with friends around this time. I was doing like Cards Against Humanity and Gary's Mod and really like, you know, little stupid things here and there. I was doing the memes and stuff, but I didn't do anything that like was really creatively fulfilling. Like it was a bunch of Let's Play stuff. And it was like, it wasn't until really 2017 when I kind of shifted my mindset from like just Let's Plays and even from just like, you know, even just shifting my mindset from, I really want to get more videos out and stuff like that. The results and everything just started changing a lot too, which was cool. Because I was learning so much more about YouTube around this time too. Because I was like, if I really want to do this, you know, if I really want to have any kind of success with this, because in the past I didn't really look too much into it. I was just like, if I got big, it'd be cool, you know. But I was like, if I really want to do this, I really need to like learn as much about it as I can. So I was reading articles about SEO, and I was watching videos from people that they're not that great, but whatever. I was getting at least a little bit of, little nuggets of knowledge here and there. I was learning that uploading more is going to help you, but then I was also learning how to edit better and get better videos out and doing, different projects and stuff. And I'm still not where I want to be,
Sure. But you're not where you were.
Absolutely not.
Not even remotely,
Right.
End of 2016 Zach is nowhere near the end of 2017 Zach. Not even same.
Definitely.
Not even the same person. Like that big of a.
Yeah.
That big definitely. Of a shift. So, just for those who don't know, like what happened? What happened in 2017? What was the shift?
It was a few things. It was me. I think one of the funniest things, I think by doing Binding of Isaac, that also helped me with like a day-to-day thing, because it was like I was doing these dailies that are inside the game. For those that don't know, Binding of Isaac is a randomly generated dungeon crawler. And so every single game you play, it's about 30 minutes to an hour long, and it's always different. And they have these things called dailies where everybody around the world that plays the game, they can decide to partake in a daily, and it'll be the exact same thing for everybody. And then there's like a scoreboard and all that kind of stuff. Well, I had just gotten into the game in December, and I was like, I want to try to do like these dailies, but I want to go and record them. And so like I had this mindset where like I was getting up early in the morning, recording this video, editing it in the middle of the day, rendering it before the night was over, and then trying to get it out that day. So I was like the first person that had, or one of the first people to have that daily uploaded. And it was very unsustainable. Very unsustainable. Maybe if I had like an editor or something, that would be a lot easier and I could have continued to do that. But I think like 40 days in a row was around the time I kind of stopped doing them every single day, or getting them out every single day like I wanted to. Because it was also an achievement in the game. So right around this time, there was a big expansion put out, and they added an achievement called dedication or something like that. In order to get that achievement, you had to play this game. You had to play the dailies for 30 days in a row. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, I guess I'll go ahead and do this. But that daily was broken for the first 15 days. So it really had to be like 45 days in a row. So, I just kept on making them. And where am I getting to? I think just that drive to put out a bunch of different unique things while still having a schedule helped me a lot. But in terms of mindsets around this time, right around April, mm-hmm. I was kind of like getting tired of school completely. And I had already like knew I wasn't going to be able to pass a couple of classes because of attendance. And by the way, that attendance wasn't just me skipping classes. It was I deal with migraines. And so I had to miss classes because of migraines. And did you know that attendance is more important than you knowing your material?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So I wasn't going to classes much around this time anyways, because I already knew I was going to fail the classes. So I was putting more time into the videos. And I found a man on YouTube named Gary Vaynerchuk. Actually, I found a guy named Roberto Blake first. And he's not a YouTube he's not a YouTube guru channel. He's a creative entrepreneur that does a lot of creative help videos. But one of the biggest things he does do sometimes is YouTube help stuff. So I was like watching some of this stuff, just trying to learn new things, and got into like some of his other videos where he was talking about being a creative in the industry, that kind of stuff. And he kind of mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk, and I was like, all right, I'll check this guy out. Started watching this guy's videos. If you haven't heard of him, go check him out. Definitely a big inspiration for me in 2017. But he regularly shits on school.
Yeah, pretty big.
He was a D student growing up. He didn't like being in school at all. He had to go to college because his parents forced him to do it. But like he didn't go to classes like he was supposed to. He didn't do well in classes because he was an entrepreneur at heart. I mean, he wanted to sell things. He wanted to be a businessman. And more than that, like it was just like he had to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
And so like just kind of listening to this guy speak and talk about this kind of stuff and just kind of realizing that like what I want to do is create things, and like why am I wasting all my time in a classroom learning about fucking Beethoven and this, you know, in his life when I could be delving deeper into my passions and doing exactly what I want to do.
Right. I mean, that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
But he was obviously just sort of a big fire under you to like get going and.
Yeah, definitely.
Just do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had already been kind of keeping on a schedule throughout most of 2017 at this point. And that was just kind of just like an extra push, almost a confirmation. Just kind of like, because, you know, I was fighting, or I wasn't fighting, but I was like fussing with my dad about it. And just having really big doubts about college in general and everything. I had just dropped my music ed stuff around this time and knew that I wasn't going to be able to like be a teacher after I graduated, which I didn't want to do anyways. And so that was just kind of like that extra push to be like, hey, like,
not the only
really
one.
what you want to do. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. And then also like, if this is what I want to do, I just need to like work at it.
Exactly. Which is fair. You know, yeah. another big thing that happened in the first half of 2017, specifically on January 27th. You know what happened on that day?
January 27th?
Yeah.
Did you comment on a Mega Man video?
You uploaded a Mega Man video, the Dr. Wily Conundrum, Mega Man 3, Part 9. You know, pretty random video to watch if somebody just start out, if I say so myself.
I would say so.
And what's this? This little comment here.
No.
What's this comment doing here? It's a Blue Couch Productions guy? Who the heck? I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read this comment. It's great. I'm not gonna lie. I saw this video recommended to me, and I thought it would be awful because of the view count. Well, not only that, like the redneck like camo hat and the beard. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Anyway, but I was pleasantly surprised. All of your videos, including this one, are really well produced. I know small channels don't get a ton of comments, but I wanted to say something encouraging because you deserve it. Keep up the good work. And that was a year ago. And then Zach responds like not even barely, just like an hour, maybe like a day even. Really appreciate your comment, man. I work extremely hard on my videos, so that means a lot. And then like could have ended there, TBH. But then I get invited, we talk about wanting to do a collab. And
I think I go check out your channel.
Right.
And I leave a comment on something. I was like, hey man, just like came from your comment, like what you're doing.
The top 10 Johto Pokemon video, I think.
Yeah.
Which in retrospect is a much better video to start out at compared to what I had. But yeah, we both got on Skype and we're talking about doing collab stuff, which would eventually become the top 10 Smash Bros. Characters, which was months and months later. But yeah, we had talked on Skype through a little bit of it, and I believe I got invited to do one of the Nerdceptions. The Season 3 opener. about dating a nerd and all this other stuff. And you gotta view it from my perspective, all right? Like, barely knew this guy at all. I'd commented on one of his videos, wasn't expecting a response, wasn't even like expecting a collab opportunity out of it. So the fact that I'm even this far is cool. But then to not only have that, but to also be invited to a podcast with random strangers that you do not know in any shape or form, what they're like, who they are, on a podcast you've never been on or ever watched, just some random night. And show up and participate in the discussion a little bit, here and there. And then I believe I blow up about, like, if you're the type of girl who dates a nerd and tries to change him, you really shouldn't. Because, like, part of being in a relationship is accepting who your partner is and, like, working together and not trying to, like, work against them and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I remember I got really angry about it, and I said that, not even thinking about, like, oh, probably shouldn't have done that. And I think I apologized literally in the podcast.
Did you?
I think I might have. And then one of you were like, no, keep going.
Yeah.
So that entire night, that podcast, and what happened on Skype just in general was pretty big. It was pretty big for me. I had been on YouTube before, but I started a new channel, Blue Couch Productions, in 2016 July. I've been posting a couple of videos, have gotten a small community via streaming. And then that January, seeing that random Mega Man video recommended to me for God knows whatever reason. And watching
SEO, boy.
It must have worked. It must have worked. But yeah, that was huge. That whole deal was huge. And to think that, like, it's a year past that now. Like, it's a year.
That's pretty crazy.
Past that. And here we are doing a YouTube podcast where I'm interviewing you now.
Yeah.
Real crazy to think about for me. Just in general.
It's crazy. Well, I think I got put in, just taking it back just a little bit to that old For Forgotten Things website, the whole Let's Play group. I, like, 2 weeks into being on this website, was invited to join a podcast that they were doing. And, like, I'm literally, like, I'm joined in, like, this call, and they start the podcast, and okay, I come in late. I'm like getting called to do something for my parents, and I come back into the call. I'm like, I've been called, so let me go join this call. And they're in the middle of a podcast. They're like 10, 15 minutes into this thing, and I'm listening, and I'm like, hey guys. And Alec, he's like, oh, hey, what's up, Zach? And they, like, introduced me, and the first question I ask is, what's a podcast?
Wow.
Because I had no idea what it was. I had no idea. I think I was either 15 or 16. I think I was 16 at this point. I'm like, I don't know what a podcast is.
That's hilarious.
What's a podcast? And so, like, they tell me what it is, and
I'm like, oh, cool.
they didn't laugh about it. They didn't even laugh about it or like joke around or anything. I was like, this is what it is.
I would have.
Like,
I would have busted out laughing.
And it's like, all right, that's cool.
That's funny though. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
It all comes around in circles.
Yeah.
And then,
I think you can go back and listen to that video.
Really?
It's still on the internet. Yeah, I think because I uploaded it on Subijan Games. I think you can still watch it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, the reason I just brought that up wasn't just to, like, talk about myself for a little bit in this interview. Well, part of it was.
No, that's fair.
But also, it led into the Discord and this just community as a whole.
Right, definitely.
And I want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna bring up Discord. It's like through the Nerdception, the old version Alliance on our Nerdscast. I had a Skype group for that, and Skype groups are awful. And some guy was complaining about it and was like, "Yo, you should get on Discord." I was like, "Nah, it's in beta. I don't want to go into scummy old Discord. Skype for life, bruh." And we kind of have an argument over it. And I'm not the only one. I'm like one of like three other people that are like, "Nah, why would I go on Discord when Skype has been reliable this entire time?" Um, but I finally get on Discord a couple months later. And I mean, I have you on it, and I have like the closest people that stuck around in the YouTube channel for me on it. And it's definitely been something that's kind of made like my channel not just my own, but having a community behind it.
And it's grown so much too. So many
Yeah.
people.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So many great people.
Mm.
People like Marjack, and getting old friends from Skype, and people like Darklight Dreamer on here, and some of my group as well. It's a nice little melting pot.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love it.
They're just all sorts of crazy faces.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely went like it was like 2017. I not only like put out more content and put out better content, and kind of did that, but I also got to like see this community grow, which was the like one of the best parts about it.
Sure.
Because it was something that like it'd been a while since I had any kind of like community to go to. And I wanted to create that similar community again. I wanted to make a website, and I did make a website for a little bit, because I wanted that community aspect back. And I was like, well, there's not one out there for me. Like, I'll just make one. And then Discord came around, and I finally got on that, and it was a lot easier to kind of maintain or create a community through that.
Right place, right time.
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
Discord in and of itself was just getting like big around that time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it like coincided pretty well with what you were trying to do, and
Right.
In a way, it's a little bit like that for Forgotten Things days, only like a little bit more personal and a little bit more of a tight knit group of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think my Discord's nowhere near perfect. There are members there that never interact. There are members there that may even forgot they're there. But there are definitely like a small group of people that I know that I can just kind of go to for whatever.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Didn't have that luxury back then.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like you guys are my friends now.
Sure.
Like, it's not just some random people on the internet.
Sure.
Which is awesome.
And a lot of that happened in 2017.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. All of it happened.
That was just crazy. It really was.
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
Even then, you talk about like school not working out and all this other stuff. Like, not only do we have like another YouTube podcast talking about that, and going into that like close around that time. But shoot, I remember being in the call of like the Zack Snyder Productions, just inception. I remember being in the call of you like venting frustrations about school. Remember being in the call about like the Lions Honor stuff. Remember being in the call for a lot of the season 3 nerdceptions and all that other stuff. Like, even just taking out, the quote unquote results of it all, like the videos that came out of it, the collaborations, all that sort of stuff. Like, there was so much just there. So many crucial conversations and so many moments here and there that, like, again, kind of led you on this crazy path throughout 2017.
Right. Well, I mean, you're the reason I have this channel. Because we haven't even talked about that.
Sure.
Like, I had Sabijan Games for gaming-related stuff, but I was doing non-gaming-related stuff for a few months. And then we were on call for, like, hours.
For a long time.
Yeah. and you were like, "Why don't you just make a new channel?" And I was like, "Huh," because I had thought about it. I just didn't know if that was what I wanted to do.
Right.
But we talked about it a lot that night, and the next day I like started another channel.
Well, part of my reasoning was like a lot of the non-gaming stuff you were doing, I was really liking and really watching. You know,
Right.
Asak, I was a huge fan of. Japan vlogs, I was a huge fan of. Nerd Psychology, again, a huge fan of. I was watching all the Nerdceptions that I came into. Like, the only thing I wasn't watching on Ceviche Games was the actual game stuff there.
Right.
And, you know, when we were in that call, and I think you had thought about it before, or had the idea before, and I was just kind of like giving you that push to just go for it and just really do it. In fact, even at the time, I was considering doing the same thing. Like, Blue Couch Productions wouldn't have even been a year old, and I would have dropped it and then done another new channel trying to do the same thing. And I was eventually like, nah, my channel's still young, I got time and shit. And you were like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it, why not? And then there came Zack Snyder Productions.
It was born.
When was that? About like August 4th, yeah.
Yep.
So a little bit later into 2017. Any like early 2017 stuff that we missed? Discord, a lot of Let's Play stuff.
I got involved with a Facebook group. I got involved with a couple of Facebook groups that were kind of Let's Play oriented and YouTube oriented. One of them was called Let's Play Academy. The owner of that had saw a post that I made in another group about wanting to start a website. And he was like, I already kind of have this thing planned. You want to help me do this? I was like, so I joined his little thing. And it's still going around. It's still getting there. And the other one was like YouTube Coalition for Creators or something like that. And I became an admin, or not an admin. I became a mod on that for a while. And was pretty active in that. So I think being a part of both of those also helped kind of grow a little bit. Definitely gave me a little more experience with certain things. Live streaming.
Oh yeah. Weren't even streaming.
I touched. I did a stream in 2015. I did a couple of streams in late 2016, but 2017, I got my restream report last month, and I streamed like 400 hours. Like what?
That's crazy.
It's 400 hours I'm never gonna get back. Thanks YouTube.
How many hours again? 400?
400.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to take that 400 and divide it by 24. Let's see, we got 16 days of 2017 were spent streaming. Yep. Almost 17.
Yeah. It's crazy.
A lot of time.
But live streaming definitely helped.
Oh, yeah.
With a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. Another kind of big moment for you there.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff that came out of that. Met a good bit of people through there, and you know those Breath of the Wild streams. Holy cow! I still like those.
Yeah,
the early ones. They're great.
Yeah, they were fun.
Spaghetti memes and stuff like that.
Oh boy, so many memes.
So many good 2017 Ceviche Games memes. They're on point.
Yeah,
they're on point.
Like the Sonic Chili Dogs commercial. It's one of my personal favorites. I think it's got 363 views. What?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
What world do I live in? so much stuff. But I mean, like, literally, there were so many ideas, so many things that just ended up getting posted. You know, not all of them were successes.
Right.
Like the classic Binding of Isaac roleplay had one episode and didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some stuff here that didn't pan out. But, you know, for every one that didn't pan out, there's at least 2 or 3 that do. Things like just vlogging, things like just starting to stream, things like getting a Discord community, things like even considering the thought of making a new channel, right? Like
Right. Yeah, for sure.
thumbnails getting better, editing getting better, making more highly produced stuff was probably the biggest of that.
Mm-hmm.
From the early days of like Nerd Psychology, Nintendo the History, to what would end up becoming Recap as a whole.
Right. It's a lot.
Right. And it all happened in 1 year. That's the thing.
Yeah. I contacted Roberto Blake on Twitter because he had said he was looking for an editor, and I was like, "Yo, I edit videos. What's up?" And he was like, "Well, I've already got an editor, but I'm looking for an intern/apprentice to like do some copywriting things for me and possibly do like some other things." And so I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And so I like networked with him on Facebook, and I'm like in a group of his stuff, like his people and stuff. And that's definitely helped me a lot too. Just in the last 3 months or so, 3 or 4 months, it's starting to like give me opportunities to get paid work. So it's like one of those things that's going to kind of hopefully maintain me financially while I continue to like work on my own stuff.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if it does.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. And I guess. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but yeah, 2017 was pretty big.
Right. Like, we could spend another hour or so just talking about all the things that happened in 2017 and all the people you met, series you started, series finished,
Mm-hmm.
How many goddamn Binding of Isaac videos there are.
181.
So many. It doesn't stop.
181.
It never ends. There's always more. Zelda to Mario to Cuphead and all these games, all this stuff, all these just moments in general, man. Like, really can't understate how big of a year 2017 was.
Right. And I mean, you're mentioning moments. I think that's one of the really cool things about like YouTube is that, we both do YouTube and it's a big part of our lives.
Sure.
But it's not all of our life.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely a lot of other things that happen. But what's really cool about YouTube is you kind of encapsulate what's happening at any given moment in your life in those videos.
Right.
So like I think it'd be super interesting to go back and listen to 2015 me and see, what I was thinking earlier on in that year and how I was feeling about school and or whatever else was going on in my life.
It's very much a time capsule.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have as far as Sabijan Games stuff is concerned. I want to briefly get into Zack Snyder Productions, the channel that this podcast is actually on.
Oh boy.
And like, I don't know. I could ask you a lot of different things, but believe it or not, a lot of it's just been covered on your week on YouTube. A lot of the time.
Yeah. Considering we started another YouTube podcast a week after I started Zack Snyder Productions.
Yeah.
So,
a
lot of that is there.
We kind of know a lot of that now. I guess I'll just ask just about like Recap in general, because obviously that's sort of the big show here. Like, what was your inspiration for that, and how long did it take you to get in the groove of getting that show like going, at least somewhat semi-consistently?
Fair. I think earlier than 2017, I kind of wanted to do content around like certain TV shows and stuff. I wanted to do something around Doctor Who at one point, but couldn't really figure out a format for it or figure out what I wanted to do exactly. Early 2017, I was like, I really want to get into watching Star Trek, but how can I turn it into content? And I haven't done anything with either of those yet, but I would like toyed around with the idea of like doing movie reviews as well. I really wanted to, at the end of 2017, or really like middle of it, just kind of get away from just doing game stuff, because I am a nerd and I like all these different nerdy activities and stuff. So I really wanted to like, indulge in as many of them as I could on YouTube. And Kyle from the Discord, he had mentioned something about wanting to write reviews on the Lions Honor website before it got taken down. I want to do reviews on all the Final Destination movies. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like, hey, if you do written reviews, I'll do video reviews for them. And so I then like just kind of formulated the format of recap on that first video. And I think it went really well, which is cool because then I could just continue with this kind of like formula, and get better at it as time goes by, make the editing more fluid, things like that. But really, I think it's turned into a pretty cool series. Like I really enjoy doing them, which is cool.
Oh sure. I haven't even gone back to watch the Final Destination one, the first one, like in a while now. I wonder how much is different just there.
Yeah, I'm curious myself.
Compared to
go back and look at it and go see
later recaps.
Yeah, I have a recap coming out later today, and it's so different. It's so much more different. Like I have a webcam in it, and I have like almost like mini skits in it, and I didn't realize until months later when I got introduced to. This guy's been making videos forever. I just never watched them. Got introduced to Nostalgia Critic. And I was watching a couple of his videos and I was like, wow.
This guy stole recap.
I actually stole recap. It's like, man. So my videos are very Nostalgia Critic-esque.
Sure.
In the format, but I still think they have, they're still definitely different in many ways. So
everybody and their mother's done that format to death. Like it's not even it's not even a Nostalgia Critic thing. I guess he helped pioneer it, but a lot of people have given their own take on it and stuff, so you're fine to do so as well. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite recap?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. I'm like, the real ones or the fake ones? The Emoji Movie recap was great. I fucking loved that video.
It's pretty good. I like that.
I did that video while in call. I was like writing the script the night before this movie came out. I was like, I'm going to make this ridiculous review of a movie I'm never going to watch the day before it comes out. And I'm like writing it inside the call. And then I'm like, all right, I'll be back right quick. 10 minutes later, I've got the script recorded. And I'm editing it within like the next 2 hours, and upload that. And yeah, that one was fun. I think that was also, let's see, that was in the middle of all the Final Destination movies.
Right.
I like the Scooby-Doo one because it's getting me a lot of views.
Getting me the money.
The Death Note one was kind of funny to make because it was a shitty movie. More recently, it's all the stupid ones. Star Wars Holiday Special.
Is that even really a recap?
Technically, it's a recap.
Oh,
I give it a score and everything. But yeah.
If that counts as a recap, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, it's so. It's such a bad fucking movie. I don't even know. Man, that Star Wars Holiday Special made me physically angry. I was inside of a chapel while watching this. I was at work in a chapel watching the Star Wars Holiday Special, thinking, God, what am I watching?
Is this a sin?
I mean,
probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Real talk.
But Harrison Ford was thinking it was a sin while he was in it too.
Oh yeah.
Man.
they did not try.
No.
They tried too hard, maybe. Maybe that's
Maybe I don't even know, dude.
We got the disaster that was the Star Wars Holiday Special. But
Yeah.
obviously, Zack Snyder Productions is doing better than expected. I feel
Yeah, I think so.
135 subs, been around since August. We got 13 episodes of a YouTube podcast. This will be the 14th. A lot of extra sods. Plenty of recaps, an anime recap podcast that's sure to go places.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Some of the best ass sack thumbnails. They're pretty fire.
Yes. Ass sack in itself is just turned into how much can I go crazy in a video?
And then just random shit. Random memes. Random videos. Ones that we've talked about. The exposed video, the YouTube Rewind one. Star Wars, Genius of Young Sheldon. All that sort of stuff. And that's sort of where we're at today, on February 20th, 2018. What does the future hold?
So I'm glad you're asking me this question. I'm quitting YouTube.
Oh,
so this is the last video.
It's a good send off.
It's a good send off. But that third break,
right?
Let's do it now.
It's coming.
Nah,
been long awaited.
I think I'm kind of figuring out what I can and can't do. While 2017 was a big moment and just like me doing this as much as I can, now I've gotten better at making things. At least I feel like I have. And I kind of figured out like what I want to do creatively and what I don't want to do creatively. And like while I still like putting out as many videos as I can, there is a certain kind of quality threshold that I do want to meet. And certain videos take longer than Let's Plays. Most videos,
what a shot,
take longer than Let's Plays. So I'm in this position where I've got a lot of ambition and there's a lot that I want to put out, but I can't do all of it right now because I don't have time. So I'm just trying to take it one day at a time.
That's fair.
And
you don't have any long-term plans?
Yeah, definitely. I think like over 2018, I would like to grow the channel even more. I do have plans to bring back Nintendo the History and Nerd Psychology. I have plans to do like some more out of the box stuff, just to kind of like see where it will go. Like I want to get to an area where I'm like very consistent with everything. Like I think this year I have the potential to do not YouTube full time and live off of that, but do like online content creation full time. A mix between making videos and streaming, but also doing a lot of freelance work and kind of using that to pay bills.
Sure.
And I think 2018 is going to be a little bit different personally too, for a lot of different reasons. But then looking forward from that, like I would love to be able to hire somebody to edit some stuff, especially like the gaming channel. Like I still want to run that and keep that going for years to come, but I don't want to do all the editing for it. I just like, I like when it comes to like editing Let's Plays, I just don't want to sit there and listen to me talk while playing a game for hours at a time anymore.
Sure.
Because I could be using that time to make bigger projects. But yeah, I mean, I just want to do more. I just want to do better things and then do more of it.
I mean, it's a good goal to have.
Yeah.
So now that we've gone through essentially not only your entire YouTube history, but just like history in general up to this point.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the takeaway is? Like, if you could sum up your story so far in like one sentence of advice to someone else, like what would that be? You think? I know that's kind of
don't do YouTube. I'm joking.
Got it. That's fire. I
When
like
you're
that.
when you're coming out of the womb, take the umbilical cord, wrap it around your neck,
Yeah.
and don't just don't let your life happen.
Don't let your parents find out about your swearing videos. That's a good takeaway.
Yeah, that's a good that's a good takeaway. I think when I look at my entire life, and I've had to do a lot of reflection over the last year and a half for a lot of different reasons. Because of school, because of YouTube, because of what I want to do for the future, and because of what the past and everything. I think the biggest takeaway I've came up with is, if you live a life that you feel like is different than other people, then don't try to do the things that everybody else is trying to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Because I've always had like a lot of weird shit happen in my life. And some of it I've talked about on this episode. Some of it I can't really talk about too much, or I just don't really want to share until later on. A lot of personal things, a lot of things in my family, but then also like a lot of things in school. Like, I mean, I was a 4-year-old that could read. I was a 7th grader in high school marching band. I did like all these like weird shit that not everybody else was doing, and I was an overachiever in way too many things. And then I came to college to be a teacher and do what other people that were into music wanted to do. And then I've only realized now that that's not, I have these big aspirations and these big dreams, and I don't see any reason why they can't happen if I just push towards it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. You have goals, wanna achieve them.
Yeah.
Have them up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but this was a long, weird, interesting, up and down filled road, and
Yeah.
for me looking
Definitely.
in, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Even just the YouTube part alone. Me and Jay have talked about this too. Like, you could almost make like a documentary or just a side channel just about all the shit that happened, all the interesting stuff that happened.
Yeah, I'm working on an autobiography, so
From those early days until now, it's fascinating to look at. But honestly, not even get the dick sucking out of the way here.
Oh man, I love it. No.
In all honesty, I think for me personally, from finding your channel based off of part 9 of a Mega Man 3 Let's Play of all things,
It's
like,
hilarious.
it's funny to look back at. Just seeing all your videos, just seeing all the stuff you put out, hearing your thought process, getting into conversations, getting personal, getting real, and doing all this sort of stuff, and potentially even moving in together by like this year, which is crazy to think about. Like,
yeah.
if I have kids, it's going to be a hard thing to explain. Where I'm like, yeah, I met a guy over on the internet, and a year later,
Yeah.
we're living in the same place, and I moved halfway, not even halfway across the country, but a good bit. That's a long drive.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very hard and interesting thing to explain. But you know what? I'm along for the ride. I'm along for the ride as a whole, and
same.
I'm interested in what you do as much as I am what I do. Right? Like, can't wait to see what you put out. Can't wait to see what moves you're going to make, where you're going to be at in a couple of years, and if we can even get this YouTube dream off the ground, which seems harder and harder as the days keep passing on.
Yeah.
How unlikely of a dream that is. But like,
well, I guess we'll just see what happens,
Right, and that's all we can do. That's all we can do. There was a lot of perseverance, a lot of even to get to this point. I feel at least somewhat incredibly lucky, and I don't know about you personally.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I mean, when I look at like going back to the Let's Play group from earlier on in my YouTube career, like none of those guys are doing Let's Plays. I take that back. Kyle was still doing Let's Plays. He was on it. And there are a couple of other people that are still around, but not many. Most people from like 5-6 years ago are just no longer doing anything YouTube. And even people from like 2 to 3 years ago that I knew that were doing things, even people from a year ago that I knew that were doing things, they're not doing it anymore. And so I feel like for, if we're still doing it currently at any point in time, I think we're kind of lucky to still be, still have that drive and motivation to do it.
Right.
Because it's hard.
And
none of it's easy.
We mentioned on this podcast, like, all of the different hurdles and stuff, and we haven't even gotten to some of them here. But I hope for the people listening to this that, like, if Zach could get to where he was at, based on all the shit that he had to deal through or whatever, and maybe you could too.
Mm-hmm.
We talk.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very easy for people to watch your stuff and to be like, "Oh yeah, it's so hard starting out, yada yada yada." But here these channels are at, and they've already kind of gotten into it, and they've already kind of like been on the platform for a while. They must have it all figured out and stuff. Like, we don't. The only difference between someone like me and Zach and a listener who maybe wants to start a YouTube channel is just a weird long journey of experience and moments, right? That's the only thing that's separating us. And if you want to go on that journey, if you want to go that YouTube path, you could start just like we did, or go a different route entirely and find your own success and find your own passion and do whatever, man. But we
definitely,
if anything, I hope this showed that, like, he didn't have it all figured out. We don't have it all figured out. This is very much a long process, and we didn't get here simply 100% by luck or chance. So, I mean, it played a factor, yes. But, there's a reason we're still around. There's a reason we're still doing stuff.
And I think, like, remember that with both of us talking, we still have very small channels.
All right.
And we still have a lot of like growth for ourselves, not only on the channel, but as a creator. And, the more we do this, the better we're going to get at it. The more we do this, the more we're going to grow. Just statistically, that's just how it goes. And it's the same for you. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're just now starting, or if you've been doing it for 5 years with me, like, it's one of those things where, you may be bigger than us, and you might be like, well, I still don't have anything figured out, and that's fine. Like, that's perfectly okay. It gets hard for me to kind of put in a scope where I am at, like where I'm at on YouTube, because I've been doing it for so long, and so I do feel like a veteran. But obviously the numbers don't show that. And so it's a little weird when I like talk about everything, because it's like, why do people care about about my story? Because I haven't gotten any big numbers out of this yet. I haven't, but I think it does go to show that just like, I think just having that dedication to keep doing it, because you love doing it, is what matters at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. College, regardless of college and girlfriends and parents and every other thing in the world, right? Like, still have that passion, you still have that drive, and you continue to do it and find happiness through it, then good for you, my dude.
Yeah,
you got it.
Definitely.
You got to at least somewhat figure it out. And like Zach said, we're very much still young, we're very much still, and that's the thing. That this entire interview, this is like the beginning. All that I just went over and listed and talked about is the beginning,
Yeah.
Not the halfway point of a book or a novel, or the climax or the ending bits. Like chapter 1.
Pretty much.
Chapter 1.
Yeah.
I mean, what? You're like 22?
Yeah. Like, still got like at least another 60 years out of me, hopefully.
Sure. So, by all means, we still got a long way to go, and you got to keep in mind we're all on that same road together, right? We're all on that same road, trying to do the same thing and hope things work out in the end. And if they don't, well, hey, it'll be a great experience to look back on and to remember fondly, and we'll be glad we did it.
Definitely.
But that being said, it's 2:39 a.m.
Yeah, it's 3:39 for me.
This podcast has probably gone on long enough.
2 hours 45 minutes.
Oh, it's not as long as I thought. I thought we were at the 3-hour point yet. That ain't too bad.
No, not quite.
But with that being said, I'm gonna call the interview off here. Thanks for doing it.
Cool. No, thanks for suggesting. It was fun, dude.
Yeah, I probably could have shortened a lot. I probably could have gone into some other things too. Maybe there's some stuff that was left off, but I feel like I got most of it. Especially considering it was improv. Like I didn't even write any of that shit down.
Yeah, no, that was good. I like talking about myself, so it was really fun.
Yeah.
So just real quick, we have a couple of comments. Wait, what the? We do have a couple comments. Why is that not showing up?
Let me try and find them.
Right. We have a long paragraph.
Who could it be?
From I don't know.
I wonder
who it would be. Is it showing up for you? 'Cause it's not showing up for me.
I only got one comment showing up for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. YouTube, what are you doing?
You'll have to go into Community Creator Studio.
Yeah.
Hop in there. I'll read the one comment that I can see, though.
Yeah, read it.
We got one from Ask Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And he just left 4 thumbs up emojis.
Yeah, boy.
I'll leave a thumb up to that, too. There you go.
There you go.
Thumbs up
also
to you.
On this week on YouTube, I had somebody randomly watch like all of my Final Destination stuff yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I mean, it gave me 9-10 hours of watch time. So I was like, all right, I'll take that. Thank you.
It's like, if you could do that 4,000 more times.
4,000 more times.
That'd be great.
All right, there it is. Patient, I don't know why your comment is not showing up on the actual video itself. I think that's a YouTube conspiracy. So
that's hilarious.
But this is the comment. I'll go ahead and let Aden read it.
All right. The patient says, I swear I cannot stress enough the importance of actually getting involved in small communities on everything. Take Discord, for example. If you get involved in that small community and get to know the people before pushing your shit, then people are more likely to check it out. Obviously, if you're a dick to them and you're not well liked, well, then maybe don't push their content because that's probably not going to work. Nothing is worse than a person who joins and then it cuts off.
Yeah, I just realized that there's more.
Clean. She also left a reply, though, that says, are you kidding me? How long is this? Patient, you're killing me.
It's a fucking novel. I love it.
Patient, you're killing me. Anyway, nothing is worse than a person who joins a Discord that allows self-promotion and only ever posts their links. Even if it's infrequent, it's just bad. Don't be that guy. I remember Aiden saying at one point that if I started YouTube, I'd have such a good start because of how many Discord communities I involve myself in. And I did say that. That's true. Because I've gotten to know those people there, if I started putting out content, they'll hopefully support and watch it. And please be human in your posts. I see so many people advertising stuff on Discord in the most monotonous, robotic way. There's no enthusiasm, nothing unique or attention-grabbing. It's dull, it's soulless, and it makes me want to punch you. Also, just going to give my 2 cents on Snapchat. Snapchat basically killed itself with its newest update, and a lot of people are ditching it. It's genuinely asinine. Popular YouTube stories are a lot harder to find and see now, and it's basically obsolete. I'd also really consider pushing Snapchat if you already have an established fan base, because there's not really a way to push your stuff without adding a ton of people who don't know who you are and putting your shit on your story. And there's no guarantee they'll even watch it, since most of the people just feed through stories anyway. TLDR, don't expect anything from Snapchat unless you have an established fan base. It doesn't have to be big, but you need something. Instagram is definitely a better platform, since you can actually find other people through it. Segue, I'm really skeptical on paying for ad space. Because of how many people do you actually know who A, don't use ad block, and B, actually pays attention to any of them? I just don't think it's worth it. FYI, yes, that graphics community is a lot of Pokemon stuff, but a lot of people there branch out and do some goddamn amazing shit. I'm linking it here anyway. Don't at me. And she leaves a link to the Discord. Gotta plug stuff, man.
That's why it's not showing up.
The link?
The link.
I got you. Well,
I think I fixed it, but
she also left a reply to that, as if it wasn't enough in the first comment. Had to branch out a little bit more. She says, also, speak out is such a bad business decision. It's not memorable as a brand IMO. Bishu as a name stands out and doesn't look like a generic shitty trending hashtag on Twitter.
So, I got a message from Jay earlier. He took a screenshot of BitChute, aka Speak Out. And he was like, what the fuck happened? I was like, yeah, that happened like 2 months ago.
Yeah. He
was like, so now it's just an alt-right website?
It's been one.
Like, well, now it's just, showing exactly what it is.
It's been one.
Oh, man.
I'm so done. I'm so done with BitChute Speak Out. My videos are going on there because it automatically does it. But aside from that, like, I'm done. I really am.
Their Twitter like retweet shit that's just like it's amazing, dude.
Sure.
Like, hey, if I get viewers from it, hey, that's dope. Like, if you're watching on BitChute or Speak Out, like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, thanks.
If you made it all the way through this on BitChute just to hear your precious website get dissed, you got some.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. You made it through.
Yeah. No, make sure you have a YouTube channel too.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna be like those people on VidMe.
Gotta do a little bit of both. Anyway,
I love VidMe.
As far as Patient's paragraph is concerned,
novel.
The novelization of
fan fiction short story over here.
Of Snapchat being the worst.
Yeah.
I don't use Snapchat. I've heard the update's pretty cringe.
It's pretty bad.
So
it's pretty bad. A lot of people are really pissed off about it. I'm getting more people. Well, I'm still getting people viewing my stuff on Snapchat because I have friends that like use it a lot. But then I think I'm getting more views on certain things on Instagram stories than anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And then the part about like not being monotone and boring when you advertise your stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Even me posting links in a Facebook group at least has a sentence or two of fluff to make it not seem like I'm just out there posting links.
Yeah. So what you do, right? You say, click on this video and it'll give you $1 million.
Exactly.
Or just like start off with all capital letters, sex, and then be like, now that I have your attention, go check out Mega Man Part 9.
The Wily Conundrum, my best video.
The Wily Conundrum. Yeah, it sounds like a Big Bang Theory episode.
It does. Well, the finale of that series is called The End Is Nigh.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then there's
playing right now.
Then there's a Sakura Valentine's episode that's just called Doki 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 Doki.
Yeah.
So that's two. It's two for.
Yeah. We got
Thank you for the.
That's interesting.
Thank you for the paragraph novel. In all seriousness, though, thank you, Patient. If you're gonna write all that,
no, for sure.
Really appreciate that.
I like your thoughts. I agree with your thoughts 100%. Get involved in other people's communities. Yeah. Don't use Snapchat. Don't use BitChute.
Don't use BitChute.
In terms of ad space, it really depends on what it is. If you're a Let's Player and you're using ad space to like show off your Let's Plays, you're wasting money. If you got a product and you know how to target it to your specific audience, then ad space is a lot better. But even then, you're probably going to be better using influencers like YouTubers or Instagram people or that kind of stuff. If anything, if your product is dope and you want to advertise it, sponsor me.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Was that the only comments we had? Were those two?
That was the only comments, yes.
Well, thank you to Ask Ryan for the thumbs up, and thank you, Patient, for your novel as well.
Yeah.
For you guys in the comments on this episode, let us know just what you thought of the interview, really. You know?
Yeah.
Am I bad at interviewing people? Did you get a takeaway from it? Do you feel like leading a marching band in your high school?
Do you feel like quitting YouTube and getting into a relationship?
Do you feel like starting a channel and swearing and then having one of your younger siblings show their parent and then getting a phone call while watching anime? You know, just hypothetically, you know.
Hypothetically speaking, of course.
Oh, not out there. Our Let's Play is the future. That is Let's Play.
I want to do an entire video or entire podcast episode on just Let's Plays. I want to call it our Let's Plays the future. 7-hour Let's Plays.
That's the path
That's
everyone's
the
going. But seriously, that's not what you thought. We'll be doing more interviews, probably of a shorter length.
No, I might even turn the tables.
Yeah.
Interview Mr. Aden over here.
And Zach will try to outdo me and make it like 3 or 4 hours. just to one up me.
I'm gonna ask you like some deep questions, dude.
I tried to have a mix.
You did. It was good. I'd be like, what's the meaning of life? You know, stuff like that.
Get dusted, DW. It's the meaning of life.
Get dusted, DW.
The video got a copyright claim. That made me mad.
R.I.P.
That made me mad.
R.I.P. Your Week on YouTube Part 2.
PBS. Put a little copyright thing on there, and now it's blocked in all countries. A channel about public broadcasting that does not get funding from anyone but its viewers decided that this Arthur video was ruining their brand and had to take it down. It's probably a bot, though. I'm not even gonna lie. No human being actually watched Get Dusted DW.
Did you dispute it?
I think it was visual audio stuff, and it was just blocked. I don't think I had to dispute anything, or maybe I could.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I think you can.
Okay, I might do
Go
that.
under your copyright stuff and try to dispute it. Yeah.
That video was a treasure.
Oh man.
Anyways,
we're at like almost the 3-hour mark, so let's go ahead and cut it off here.
Yeah.
Let us know. Yeah, just let us know in the comments how you feeling.
Mm-hmm.
How's your day going?
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Have you used the Stardust app?
Have you used the Stardust app? Go check it out. It's really dope. I really like it. Like I don't want to be like that guy that just like plugs shit just to plug shit, but it's really dope. I'm enjoying it.
I plugged it. I plugged it right there.
Yeah. Anyways,
like the video.
I've been
subscribe.
Zach.
I've been Aden.
And we want to thank you for listening to this episode of another YouTube podcast.
Bye-bye.
Bye.